The last thing that you guys heard. Let me get my monitor here because I do want to watch the monitor screen. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's crazy. Thank you, Sticks, for the text message. I was over here talking so much shit to myself. Oh man, I can't believe it. Even Luis was here, and he's an old friend of mine. He's an old friend of mine. I was surprised. I'm surprised when he stops by because he's not much for the internet guy. That is crazy, man. It is what it is. I'm not gonna blame YouTube for that, but we do know that there is malicious people out there with bad intents, and well, sometimes they can't handle the truth, and they don't want people to destroy their little bubble that they live in, and that's why they do what they do. But it's all good. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Do you get tired? Roadrunner game commercial. Hey, listen, when you guys listen to those commercials, you guys are helping me out. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're going to go ahead and play the boss music. Some Mother Miriam. Mother Miriam in the house. Let me see what Mother Miriam is going to say before we get to our next clip.
I don't care.
I care. I don't care either, but we're going to go ahead and listen to what you have to say, Mother
She
Miriam.
is proud to be Catholic. She's not Catholic.
Hey, this is for my Catholic friends. This is for the crazy-ass Catholics. We got to give the Catholics some love. Here is Mother Miriam. Mother Miriam reacts to Governor Healey's. There we go. Let's take a listen.
I don't care if she is proud to be Catholic. She's not Catholic. It's demonic on Governor Healey's part. And in passing this law, she has put herself into mortal sin and excommunicated herself. Stephen in Massachusetts writes, "Dear Mother, I write..."
She's excommunicado. She is gone.
"To please bring your attention to a terrible law in Massachusetts that our Catholic governor has signed. You've probably heard it already. I know other shows on the Station of the Cross have talked about it. I just want to make sure everyone hears of it and knows to pray and to write their lawmakers and priests and bishops about this quote-unquote Catholic governor abusing our faith to defend the murder of unborn babies. God bless you and thank you." It says in a statement defending her decision to sign radically pro-abortion legislation into law on August 10th, a spokesperson for Democratic Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey called Healey, quote, "a proud Catholic," end quote, as context for her support of the bill, amid mounting criticism from Catholics who say her support for the law could carry canonical consequences. Now, so I think in Massachusetts, abortion was okay after 24 weeks. I'm not sure now. That wouldn't make any sense to me. But apparently it's through any stage now, till birth even. And the fact that she calls or has been called a proud Catholic or a Catholic at all is Satan's tool to let Catholics know that it's to get them to question this. She's a Catholic. No, it's demonic on Governor Healy's part. It is demonic. She is not a proud, I don't care if she is proud to be a Catholic, she's not Catholic. And in passing this law, she has put herself into mortal sin and excommunicated herself. She doesn't have to be excommunicated by anybody. She's excommunicated herself. And any priest who gives her communion in Massachusetts or anywhere else will be sinning before God. And so, beloved, absolutely do right, Healy, get her out of office, do everything you can to show that she is a disgrace to the Catholic faith and to God by putting into law something that is absolutely against God's law from the beginning of creation and the Old Covenant through the New. And keep in mind what Edmund Burke many years ago said, the only thing necessary for evil to persist is for good men to do nothing. Don't be silent. Write everybody. Defend the murder of unborn babies, no matter what it's going to take. If you're a teacher in school and the children are old enough, you need to speak to them about this. You need to have them write, if you're at a Catholic school, a paper on what the Catholic Church teaches about abortion. You must do this. Let them bring it home to their parents. Spread this as much as you can. I don't care if she...
Listen, I'm not a Catholic. I believe every denomination has a flaw. One of the things that I have against the Catholic churches is the idols in the church. That's it. The idols in the church. There are some teachings on there about purgatory. Yeah, purgatory. That's not what we believe in. That's not what I believe in. There's a different way to go about things. But if there is a Catholic person that I love listening to, it's Mother Miriam. I love it when she comes in through my feed sometimes. She's like the grandmother that everybody wants to have. She wasn't a Catholic, all of her life. And what I do like about her is that she is a Catholic, but when she speaks from the Word. I don't think I have seen an idol in her show ever. I don't know if she has any. But that's all I have against them is the idols, the saints, and all this other stuff. The Bible is very clear. When you pray to the Father. Give thanks. Glorify Him and pray in the name of the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus. Not the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus. And I mean that's kind of how we believe that we communicate with God. The Virgin Mary was not a virgin. After Jesus was born, she was known to Joseph, and they had sex. She was no longer a virgin. So to immortalize the Virgin Mary as a virgin, I think that's the biggest farce, biggest lie, and I can't stand with it. I don't believe in Virgin Mary because she's not a virgin. She didn't die a virgin. Okay. With that being said, I think there's a lot of things that I have against every religion. Baptists don't believe in speaking in tongues. Pentecostals are against the Baptists because they don't want to believe in tongues. And it's like, listen, every denomination has a flaw. There's going to be a lot of fake Christians out there, but there's one thing that we can all agree on, and that is that we have a Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the morals that we guide ourselves with, even though we fail, and a lot of them, is our 10 Commandments. And we believe in the Word of God, and that the Word of God says to do this, then we do this. Everything else that is man-made or, interpreted as a denomination is irrelevant. But the point is that God is our Creator, and we all worship the same God. Maybe you can argue with me on that one, because there is a lot of people that call themselves Christians, but they listen to the dark prince of this world. And, those are not Christians. Biggest example, I guess, you saw it, right? Governor Haley. Governor Haley is not a Catholic Christian. She is demonic. She is an antichrist. Interestingly enough, a lot of people like to call President Trump an antichrist, but they don't know what the antichrist is. That's all I'm saying. Now, before we get into other news, let's go ahead and finish this clip that we got cut off from showing earlier, and this is Fox News Democracy 26. Here we go. Here we go.
Ahead of the midterm elections, Democrats are claiming that the GOP is hurting minority voters in an effort to secure elections.
They know it's Jim Crow 2.0, and they know they're doing everything they can to steal our election.
We are living through an unprecedented assault on black people. This administration is pushing out black workers, disenfranchising and silencing black voters.
At Trump's command, Republicans have sought to roll back the Voting Rights Act and stripped away protections for black and brown voters throughout this nation.
But Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens says his own party is snubbing black voters. The mayor writing a letter after his city was left off of the short list to host the 2028 DNC. Writing, quote, DNC and Chairman Ken Martin have shown that they are unwilling to do the bare minimum to support the base of the party, and they are abandoning Atlanta, abandoning the South, and once again abandoning black voters. Here to discuss is former Biden White House advisor, Yemisi Egbawale, and senior communications advisor to Truth Social, Katie Zachariah. So great to have both of you.
Thanks for having us.
So, Yemisi, you're from Georgia.
I am.
But those are strong words, abandoning Atlanta, abandoning the South, and once again, abandoning black voters.
I feel him on a personal level because Georgia wasn't put in the presidential primary schedule. And I was out at the DNC in Austin, Texas for the meeting. We weren't put in the schedule, but I do like the schedule of having South Carolina and then Nevada. So I have to disagree with the mayor of Atlanta that we're abandoning black voters, because putting South Carolina first was actually a decision that the DC made in coordination with a lot of the South Carolina delegation in focusing on the black demographic. So I understand from a personal level, why don't we have Georgia? It's a very strong swing state, and it does have a great base of those black voters, but I don't think this is the Democratic Party abandoning those voters.
Katie, I want to play you a quote from El Sayed talking about trying to woo black voters in Michigan.
My relationship in the black community isn't built on a couple of photo ops or $60 or $70 million of outside spending lying about somebody's record. It's built on the work that I've done. I look forward to the relationship I'll continue to build, looking forward to working within the black community to turn out in the general, and we've got to beat Mike Rogers, because at the end of the day, you have not seen an administration that has taken a deeper attack on the black community, seen the consequences of the Supreme Court's awful decision on voting rights.
So it's interesting, in the primary, Haley Stevens won black voters in Michigan by 30 points. But if you look at polling now in Michigan, black voters are coming home again. Do you see a schism like this playing out for Democrats?
Yeah, so actually I worked on the 2024 campaign in Michigan, in Dearborn, Michigan, on President Trump's campaign. And El Sayed presents this real, in my mind, the mayor of Atlanta should be discussing really the schism with the DSA infiltrating the party and taking away the voting opportunities. So as you said, Haley Stevens actually was a much more moderate candidate that presented a lot more solutions to the voters in Michigan that he's talking about. And El Sayed, I don't think will draw in the same momentum. I think it will be much more of a, we need to keep the Senate back and try to regain the Senate, rather than this real excitement for El Sayed as a candidate and being the candidate that embraces the values of the party.
It has been interesting. A lot of more traditional Democrat voters, like black voters, have been very skeptical of this whole socialist swing in the Democrat Party, but Democrat leaders are just sort of like going along with it, like, okay, let's get behind the socialist stuff.
You know, I think for primary elections in these very deep blue districts, a lot of these leaders think, well, you know, the people voted for who they voted for. We're sitting here in New York, and sometimes I think of the Democrats that get voted in New York, and I think that could never happen down in Georgia, where I'm from. So it's a balance, especially for Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, that are looking to the midterms to see, are we going to be in the majority? Am I going to be a leader? And if I am a leader, what does that entire party look like? But I do think the Democratic Party has to listen to black voters, especially in those key areas like Michigan, which is a swing state, like Wisconsin, where we saw David Crowley, where you see a lot of black voters putting their foot down and saying, no, you have have to draw a line in the sand.
Right.
And there are some policy issues we're not going to budge on and accept.
You know, Katie, one of the things, lessons from President Trump has been his willingness to try to court all voters, even voters that are sort of traditionally or have been traditionally Democrat. We saw it with working class voters. We've seen it, his efforts among Hispanic voters and also among black voters. What should Republicans learn from that?
Well, I think this is a prime example. What happened in Florida, right? What was happening in Michigan. Republicans need to start messaging to the black voter much more strategically, and rather than kind of taking for granted that they will get some of the vote or that it's going to go to the Democrats. I think the DSA presents a huge opportunity for Republicans to start messaging much more clearly to the black voters in the South, and also just generally where you have this divide of the DSA is leading the moderate Democrat voter, and how does the Republicans step in and message to gain that momentum?
Anytime politicians either take for granted the voters they get or take for granted the voters they don't have, you wind up with, I think, worse outcomes. Katie, so great to see both of you this morning.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now.
My love, there's only you in my heart, the only one I need. And 1 p.m. Yes, ma'am. I will be there 1 p.m. Maybe 1:15. All right, guys. We actually have our great Vice President J.D. Vance live right now as we speak. And we will get there as soon as he comes up on stage. Now, with that being said, I like the people that come in and try to challenge me. Yeah, drive my wife crazy with my singing. She has acute ears. She can listen to the bad singing that I give her. You know what, though? If I stop singing to you, even though it sounds ugly, if I stop singing to you, that means that I just don't love you anymore. So, yeah, be careful what you ask for, woman. Ah, man. All right. We got J.D. Vance live coming up. Coming up. Russia to get 50,000 troops from North Korea, including drone units. Oh, boy. World 111, it's inevitable. I say it that way so that the leftists understand the language. Oh, man. Unbelievable. All right. Let's go ahead and listen to this live. Unless you guys have any questions. If you have any question that you want me to address real quick before we jump into that. Oh, did Travis get blocked? Oh, Travis. Come on, man. Let me see. All right, Travis. He is the Christian man here. Let's take a listen. Hey, you ever read the Bible? That Trump has got all 5 markers as an antichrist. This guy. Again, you know, when I see fools trying to correct me, it just makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. Ah, man. So Travis, I don't know how long you were blocked for, but what do you think about the Democratic Party, Mr. Prophecy Man, since you know the Antichrist so well? What do you think about the Democratic Party today? Go on. I hope that you didn't get blocked out. Let me go ahead and see how long you were blocked for. All right, let me go ahead and change that to all blocked. Unbelievable. I went back to my old live on that comment. All right. Well, I can't find. There's too many comments on here now. So Travis is out apparently. I don't know how long. you put him out for. But yeah, I wish that you will come in here with. If you knew how to introduce an argument, I think you will be a lot more successful getting through me. But you can't even do that. So don't try to correct me when you don't even know how to freaking speak. Let me see. Okay. So I got that ready. Let me give you a quick update here. Max Afterburner has a new clip out there. I think I'll probably leave it for last because I don't know how long Vice President Vance is going to be speaking right now. But I have a clip from Afterburner, and I just gotta do a couple of things here. Maybe I'll go live later today. Today is Friday, right? So I think I'll go live later today. And let's go ahead and just listen to the live here real quick.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone in this room, everyone working at the Middletown Ironworks. You make our world possible, our life possible. I'm honored to stand here in this, what is truly a cathedral to American industrial might. This is how America became the greatest nation ever in history and the ultimate land of opportunity for 300+ million Americans. I met the Vice President about 10 years ago, right after his stirring memoir came out. I had quite an impression when we first dialogued. It's a classic American story, a pursuit of the American dream. Does not matter where you're from, it's about where you're going. The Vice President had a plan, and he created and lived the American dream. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. We've had forces over the last few decades, the deindustrialization of our country, that were simply tragic and colossal mistake. Coastal leftist democratic ideas that somehow big, strong, powerful things were out of fashion. We should push those overseas to be made in Asia, and we'll just buy the products when they come back. We should be pencil pushers and computer keyboard tappers. That was a vision of America, but a very narrow and false vision of America. There is no great power, no great nation without industrial might. Thank you. The United States became the largest producer of steel in the world in the late 1880s. That is marked, it went hand in hand because they go together with the rise of America's economic, industrial, and military power. At the end of World War II, the United States produced almost 70% of total global steel production. 70%. That's American power. America's the best. We have the best workers, the best businesses, and the best values to pass on our jobs, our ideas, our skills to our children and our grandchildren. And as I said, we lost our way. We decided politicians would make it hard to build stuff in America. I think you know which politicians. Democrats lost belief in our industrial might and made it so hard to build things in our country. Our steel industry declined to only 5% of global steel production. That is not America. That's not where we're going to stay. That's the wrong place. President Trump and Vice President Vance, they ran for election on a simple idea. We're going to reindustrialize America. We're going to sweep out the nonsense, bring back common sense, double down on American workers, and bring America's industrial might back to Ohio and back to all 50 states in this incredible country we're all honored to live in. I will tell you a renaissance is possible. The United States oil production peaked in 1971. It declined for 35 years. We became the largest importer of oil in the world, the largest importer of natural gas in the world, just like we are in steel, completely dependent on the rest of the world. For the backbone of industrial society is energy and steel. Those are the backbones of industrial society. What happened with our oil production and our natural gas production is we had a renaissance. Today, we're by far the world's largest producer of oil, by far the world's largest producer of natural gas. In fact, we're the largest net exporter of oil and natural gas on planet Earth. We did it with oil and gas. We can do it with steel also. That's a setup for my partner, my friend, and the Vice President of the United States of America. What transformed his story from an American success story into a hero story is when he achieved success, he didn't coast, he didn't lay back, he doubled down and dug deep, deciding to fight every day relentlessly so that all of you, all of Americans, could have a better shot at the American dream, could have a fairer shot at the American dream, to move the barriers and the bad decisions out of the way that made life in industrial America so hard these last few decades. We betrayed our children. We betrayed our grandchildren. Vice President Vance and President Trump are committed 7 days a week to reverse that. Illustrated right here by our Department of Energy's partnership with this fantastic company, Cleveland Cliffs, to invest $1 billion to make this the best steel plant on planet Earth. I'm now going to welcome to the stage someone who's an inspiration to me, the leader of the reindustrializing the United States of America, working with the senators in Ohio, the governor in Ohio, and the leadership to make our country great again. God bless you. God bless Middletown Works. God bless the fabulous state of Ohio. God bless the United States of America. And God bless our unbelievable Vice President, J.D. Vance.
Woo! I'm having fun, man, over here playing. I'll tell you what, man, I will miss doing this in the mornings. I love being able to come in here and just mess around with the computer and all those things. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Man, guys, if you come in here, man, try to save America. Vote Republican. Vote Democrats out. Save America.
Wow, it is great to be home. It is great to be back in Middletown, Ohio, and it is great to be with the greatest group of American patriots anywhere in the world. God bless you all, and thank you for having me. Before I get started, I got to give some shout outs here because we have a lot of amazing political candidates. We have some leaders and future leaders, and I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. But first, I've got to give a shout out to my great friend and the next United States Senator, my replacement as the next United States Senator from the state of Ohio, John Houston. John, please stand up. Thank you. We've also got, I believe, a great gubernatorial candidate, a great governor of Ohio, but also a great next governor of Ohio, my friend Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, please stand up and say hello. So you all may not know, but I have a 6-year-old son, our second child, named Vivek. And when I came back home a couple of weeks ago to vote in the primary elections, my favorite internet meme, Vivek, I don't know if you saw this, but I brought my 6-year-old little boy with me, and we had a day of travel all over the country, actually. And I hold his hand into the polling booth, and he votes for like whether he prefers caramel apples or watermelon or something. They have some kid polling ballot to fill out. And then somebody posts on the internet, JD brought his son Vivek to vote today, and then somebody used like AI or something and put me and Vivek holding hands walking to the polling location together. But I don't think that anybody needed to encourage Vivek to go to the polling location that day. When your name is on the ballot, nobody needs to make you go vote. But Vivek's going to make a great governor for the state of Ohio. I believe we have my friend Jay Edwards, who's going to make a great treasurer for the state of Ohio. Jay. And then we've also got Frank LaRose. Frank, thank you so much. A great leader in the state of Ohio, a great Army veteran. And I got a lot of other people I could shout out, but I don't think any of you are up for election in a few months. So you're going to have to, that's going to be it. Because I'm going to talk about steel. I'm going to talk about America's comeback. I'm going to talk about the fact that this is a great day to be a resident of Middletown, Ohio. This is a great day to be right here in southwestern Ohio. And you all know my story. I look at what you all are wearing, and I remember my papaw going to work in an outfit not all that different and coming to this very place to work for nearly 40 years as a welder at what was then Armco Steel. And I can't help but think about the last time a James Vance stood in this very place. He had spent nearly 40 years as a welder at Armco Steel, now of course Middletown Works of Cleveland Cliffs. He was not an educated man by any means, but he was a brilliant one. He was a complicated man, a man of faith who never went to church. He was an alcoholic since middle school, but he quit cold turkey as a grandfather. But if he was a complicated man on the inside, he was a man with very simple ambitions. He didn't want to get rich. He had no desire to build a business. That's not who my papaw was. His American dream was well-fed kids, a car engine to tinker with. He loved to build out cars, a lukewarm cup of coffee, never cold, never hot, and of course a donut from either Central Pastry or Milton's Donuts. That was his American dream. I went to Central Pastry today because, of course, I had to go get an ugly donut while I was in town. And the ladies behind the counter, they said, "You've lost way too much weight. What's going on?" And I said, "Well, I don't have a Central Pastry in Washington, D.C. That's what's going on." My papaw, it's funny, he voted in every election. He loved this country, but he did not care for politics. Now, back then, he said that Democrats were the party of union men, so he usually voted Democrat. But he thought way too many politicians were just plain old corrupt, and he was right. All he asked for from his political leaders was very simple. He asked that his taxes be reasonable. He asked that his community be safe. He asked that our politicians ensure that there were good jobs for men and women who were willing to work for them. And he asked that America never be asked to be the policeman of the world. Now, he was my grandfather. I called him Papaw. And he toiled in this very place to give our family the little extras, like I said, for nearly 4 decades. Now, I'm very honored because the welders of this facility made me this incredible, beautiful artisan plaque to commemorate me coming here. And those of you who don't know, Papaw was a welder, so it's particularly meaningful for me and for all the welders behind me and in front of me. Thank you all. It means a great deal. But Papaw was a welder in this place for 40 years. And today his grandson stands here as the Vice President of these United States. It's an amazing thing. And I'm here with a message from the President of these United States. The future of America, the future of the United States, the future of our homes and communities is going to be built right here in Middletown, Ohio. My papaw hated the politicians who ignored this place. He hated the people who saw this as the place of the past. He hated the people who forgot about this town when they should have been fighting for this town. And the unfortunate reality is that they came from both political parties. And they spent the last 40 years telling you it didn't matter if we made things right here or whether we made them in overseas countries. They said it was irrational, sentimental, old-fashioned to want to preserve the things that make the United States of America special. What we really needed, they said, was to compete and have complete market integration with every nation in the third world. Places where you could pay wages at pennies on the dollar, but didn't have to give your workers health care or good benefits in the process. And anytime somebody dared to put an obstacle in front of that set of ideas, anytime they said, you know what, we need to put tariffs or tough immigration policies to stop that, those people were called backwards, they were called wrong. Now, in 1984, just to date myself a little bit, don't hate me, 1 month before I was born, the Wall Street Journal, the voice of big business in the United States of America, proposed, and I quote, a 5-word constitutional amendment. There shall be open borders. Now, they weren't joking. They weren't being tongue-in-cheek. Because if you look at what they tried to do over the next 40 years, they told you back then exactly what they were trying to do. 16 years later, when I was in high school, right here at Middletown High School, go Middies. The newspaper's lead editorial writer doubled down on that same set of ideas. They said, someone who believes, this is a quote, in the free trade and free movements of capital, they declared, will quite naturally believe in the free movement of labor. That means they're going to ship your jobs overseas, and they're going to let anybody who wants to come into the United States of America with no vetting and no care. Being replaced by foreign workers, in other words, it was not an accident, my friends. It was the desired outcome of a generation of American elites. And every single person in this room knows the consequences and what they looked like over a generation right here in Middletown, Ohio. Now, growing up here, I remember when somebody would come to school and tell me that their dad had just found out that he had lost his job, that the factory that employed their parents was going overseas to China or to Mexico. In other cases, American workers didn't just have their jobs destroyed, they got told they were being replaced by a foreign worker, and then they had to train that worker before they got replaced. Some of these stories have made national news, and they've stuck with me. 3 years after the Wall Street Journal called for the free movement of labor, a computer programmer, not a mill worker, a computer programmer by the name of Kevin Flanagan was let go at the bank that he worked at. And the bank, they told him, you're only going to get your severance package if you trained a foreign replacement to do your job instead. And it's a heartbreaking story because he did it. He dutifully did what he was asked to do. And on his last day, he packed up his things, he walked to the office parking lot, he got in his truck, and he shot himself. It's not just Kevin, as you all know. Now, economists have measured the ways in which the opioid crisis exploded in the very locations where jobs were shipped overseas. The open borders demanded by those same people brought some innocent people, of course it did. But we also know that it brought a lot of cartels, it brought the fentanyl trade, and it left us with millions of orphan children being raised by aggrieved grandparents. That was the story, of course, of my mama and papa. Now, the blood of these men and women, these so-called deaths of despair, I'm sure you've heard that phrase, but it's almost too abstract for me. Because the blood of those people, in my view, it pools at the feet of those who would sell out their country for a cheap bottom line. Our politicians, and frankly the cronies in the private sector, people who didn't want to build in America like Cleveland Cliffs, but people who were happy to build overseas, they got rich, and communities like this one got poor. Politicians, think about this, who came to Washington with a few $1,000s in their bank account, left after decades of public service with millions in stock portfolios. And what did all of you get? What did we get? If you were lucky, your neighbor's job got shipped to a foreign country while your tax dollars got shipped to fraudsters. And if you were unlucky, as I know many people in this room were, you were left raising a grandchild while you were mourning the child killed by the very poison brought across that wide open border. But just as it was a policy choice to let that happen, my friends, it was a policy choice to reverse that decline. And in November of 2024, you made a choice to reverse 40 years of American decline and make Donald Trump the President of the United States. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy or it's all going to happen overnight, but in just 18 months, we have seen an explosion of rebuilding in the American heartland. We have seen trillions, with a T, trillions of new dollars of investment pour into the United States of America to build new smelters, build new manufacturing facilities, build new mills, build new everything. Under President Trump's leadership, factory construction employment has exploded. We've added 83,000 factory construction jobs just since Inauguration Day. And as companies break new ground on new facilities and they start building new assembly lines, imports for capital goods are reaching historic peaks. Because when we build these facilities, we've also got to put the beautiful equipment that go into them. Demand for metal cutting and similar machine tools is hitting its highest levels in a century in the United States of America. And all this new construction is building on a strong base, with manufacturing activity last month reaching its best rate in many, many years. We created more than 29,000 new jobs in the sector in 2026 so far, reversing years of decline in manufacturing employment. And year over year, manufacturing workers' wages actually went up 4.2%, where they went down under the Biden administration, and frankly, they've been higher in the industries where you've seen that decline in illegal immigration into our country, like construction and commercial trucking. And that brings me to why I'm here today. Because we're not just here to talk about the celebration and the good news and the numbers. We're here to announce that Cleveland Cliffs is making today, right here in Middletown, Ohio, a $1 billion investment in transformational manufacturing right here in our home. Now that's going to protect and create tons of new jobs. We're going to upgrade the iron making furnace. We're going to implement cutting edge new technology to optimize furnace operation and improve Middletown's air qualities, because as much as the far left says that you can't have industry, but also clean air and water, we're going to show in this facility that's exactly what you can have. You can have both of it, and you can have it in spades with smart leadership. Now, this is only possible because of my friend Chris Wright's and the president's energy dominance agenda. And I got to say, it's great to have a business that is putting power into the grid rather than just taking it away, and that's exactly what we're going to do here in Middletown. But we also recognize in our administration that real dignity, it's not just about what happens in the factory, it's not just about what happens in the office. We don't just want you to have a good job, as much as I very much want that for every single person in this room. I want you to have peace, and I want you to have security, and I want you to have the real freedom that comes along with knowing that you are the Lord of your own manor. The great Southern The great Southern populist, probably most of you in the room don't know who I'm talking about, but he's an interesting guy, kind of a crazy guy. His name was Huey Long, and he once said, "Every man a king" was the goal of his political program. But no man is a king if their castle is under siege by criminals. No man is a king if they can't take their family out to dinner without being mugged or having their car jacked. And of course, ending the Biden border invasion was a big part of why we have changed that over the last 18 months. For 4 years, the Democrats invited millions of illegal immigrants into this country to take over our communities and compete with us for jobs and housing. They let in murderers, they let in gang leaders, they let in fraudsters, and they let in drug traffickers, and they did so by the tens of thousands. And for months, we heard Democrats, including people like Sherrod Brown, people who pretend to be the friends of the workers in this facility, saying that they couldn't do anything to fix it, that we needed a new law, we needed a new statute, we needed Congress to pass a new regulation in order to fix Joe Biden's open border. But as we've learned over the past 18 months, it didn't require a new law to close down that border. It just required a new U.S. president. And what we did is we told American corporations that if you wanted new workers, you got to start by training and hiring your own countrymen. And we rewarded the corporations like Cleveland-Cliffs that wanted to do that, and we were willing to tell the corporations that wanted to hire foreign labor that if you wanted to bring that stuff back in the United States, you were going to pay a big fat tariff for doing so. And so, for the first time in my life, America saw net migration out of the country as we sent millions of illegal immigrants back home. And as a result, of that, this is maybe the thing I'm the most proud of in the last 18 months. Do you know that all net job growth over the past 18 months went to native-born Americans, reversing a trend for 4 years where it all went to other people? We got a lot of work to do, but we're making progress on all the things that matter the most. On the affordability question, we know that under Joe Biden, the cost of a median price home nearly doubled. Now, for the first time in over 5 years, rents are falling for the first time. We got a lot of work to do, but we're finally seeing that American dream of homeownership become accessible again to our young people. And it's not just affordability, America's getting safer too. We're currently experiencing in the United States of America the largest reduction in violent crime in the history of our country. Homicides. Homicides are at their lowest level in our country, the lowest level in 126 years. That's almost hard to believe. Cities like Aurora, Colorado, where, if you remember, I had an interview with somebody in the mainstream media. It was the October before the election, right when we were getting into crunch time. And we were talking about how these violent Venezuelan drug gangs had taken over apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado. And I said this to the anchor, and the anchor comes back and says to me, she says, well, they've only taken over 1 or 2 apartment complexes. And I remember at the time, I guess I wouldn't be a good poker player because I got so excited. I was like, did she really just say it's okay for a Venezuelan drug gang to only take over 1 or 2 apartment complexes? I was ready to jump out of my seat and make this point that a single apartment complex or a single home taken over by a foreign drug gang is one too many, which is why we got to get those people the hell out of the United States of America. But as we systematically address the failures of the past, I got to be honest, as much as I wish we had, we have not gotten a lot of help from Democrats in Washington. Bernie, have we? No. This is not, unfortunately, JFK or FDR's Democrat Party. Hell, it's not even Bill Clinton's Democrat Party. This is the party of diversity quotas rather than opportunity for all. This is the party, the Democrat Party, of graduate students rather than the union and non-union workers who make this facility run. It's sometimes actually hard to understand, like, what do these modern Democrats actually stand for? But look what they say, pay close attention, and they'll leave these little hints of what they actually care about. Now, El Sayed, this guy running for Senate in Michigan, he once argued, not too long ago, that criticisms of Sharia law were rooted in white supremacy. I'd love to go back in time and tell my papaw that there's a man who claims to stand for working people who says not only should we have Sharia law, but if you criticize it, you're a white supremacist. That's not my papaw's Democrat Party, my friends. Now, I served for 2 years in the Senate with Sherrod Brown. He was a friendly enough guy, but he was a man who claimed to represent this state. but never once raised his voice against Joe Biden's border crisis or against the inflation that was brought on by Joe Biden underinvesting and trying to destroy American industry. If you look at it at every step of the way, these Democrats have voted for foreign workers and fraudsters over American citizens and hard-paying taxpayers. They have voted for corporations who sent jobs overseas rather than good American businesses who invested in you, invested in your communities, and increased your jobs. Who do these Democrats put first? Everyone else. You know who the Trump administration puts first? Americans. You, my friends, that's who we fight for. But you know, these Democrats, they've opposed every turn our work to make trade fair again, to stop letting foreign countries take advantage of us. They screamed and cried as we protected our communities from illegal immigration. They sued, they boycotted, they protested, they rioted, and they obstructed, all in the name of defending the interests of foreigners over American citizens. That's right. Now, some of the stories sound insane. In one case, we were working to deport a convicted child rapist in the state of Minnesota. Tim Walz. You remember Tim Walz? Caught wind. And you know what he did? He pardoned the guy. He pardoned a literal child rapist to prevent him from being deported out of the United States of America. Now, we went ahead and got this guy out of our country anyways, and Walz, it gets better. Walz asked the country what good it accomplished. Did that make us any safer? That is a direct quote from the Democrat governor of Minnesota. To which I'd say, as the father of 4 young children, 10-year-olds and everybody else can breathe a little bit easier in Minnesota. Yes, Tim, of course it's good to get violent criminals the hell out of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're up against in November. Whether it's child predators, Somali fraudsters, foreign gang members, or even visa fraudsters who are working to undercut American wages and steal from American taxpayers, the Democrats know who they stand for. It's anyone but you. Think about it. Every single Democrat, every one, voted against no taxes on tips, voted against no taxes on Social Security, voted against no taxes on overtime, and voted against no taxes on car loans so long as those cars were made right here in America. Now, we got to ask ourselves, imagine if they get back in power, what are they going to vote for? If these radicals take control of Congress, they're going to pass the craziest agenda America has ever seen. You're not going to have to take my word for it. You just got to hear these guys actually talk about it themselves. One incoming Democrat congresswoman wants to abolish prisons, she wants to abolish police, and she wants to abolish the borders. And let me just say, that's the only real question on the ballot in November. Do we believe in America, or do we believe in nothing? We in this room believe in America, and we're going to fight for it, my friends. You know, when I reflect on 250 years of American history, what I can't help but feel above everything else is gratitude. I reflect on this incredible life that I've been able to lead thanks to the generosity of so many of the people in this community, people who are here today, friends and family. My stepmom is here, teachers, people who made it possible for me to live the American dream when everything else was fighting against it. The cool thing about this nation is that in our own way, making our own contribution, we've built this country together as one American family. Black and white, rich and poor, whether you've been in this country for 10 seconds or whether your family has been in this country for 10 generations, think about it. Every accomplishment of American greatness has a long line of people, many of them who don't get their part in the story, but we all know we're very much part of it. Now, of course, I grew up in an era where we had already gone to the moon. But think about this. When we went to the moon, of course, it was the astronauts. Everybody wanted to be an astronaut when I was growing up. Neil Armstrong just lived up the street when I was growing up. They were amazing men. They tested the limits of physical realities. They had quite literally out-of-this-world courage. But it was not just them. It was the scientists. It was the computer programmers who designed the rockets, who designed the software that went in it. It was the janitor who made sure that facility was a clean and orderly place to go to work so that these guys could build the rockets that took us to the moon. It was men like my papaw who worked at steel mills all across America and who built parts and materials that were American strong and good enough to test the limits of interplanetary travel for the first time in human history. It was the moms and dads doing the quiet and, as I know, often thankless work of raising the kinds of boys and girls who could become astronauts or become scientists or become welders or eventually become moms and dads themselves. The story of our beautiful nation and its greatest achievements has been written by all of us together. Some of us contributed a few sentences and others contributed whole chapters of the book, but it is the story of our people. It is the story of our parents before we were born, and it will be the story of our grandchildren long after we're gone. The story of this country is one of a foundation laid by normal, common, and good people who make the great achievements of Western civilization possible. You know, one of my kids is ready to go back to school next week, and I learned through him of a classmate who suffered from a terrible illness. Little girl, beautiful little girl. And as fate would have it, just a crazy coincidence, I actually knew a little girl when I was growing up in Middletown, Ohio, who suffered from the exact same illness. And what I remember is that back then, it was considered a death sentence. And now it's serious. I don't want to underweight it, but this little girl is expected to survive after she gets her course of treatment. Now think about this. In just a single generation, a disease has gone from a death sentence to another very difficult problem that Americans together can fix. From the people who are making the therapeutics, to the people who are designing and building the facilities where they're made, to the men and women who manufacture the steel where the medicines that saved that little girl's life were made. It's not possible without all of us working together. And when I look at this girl's life, the fact that she's going to be able to grow up and live a normal life, I cannot help but feel gratitude for every piece, every chapter of the American story that made it possible. To the researchers and scientists, think about this, who have toiled for decades finding treatments to the world's most difficult diseases. To the businesses, the parents, the private citizens, the philanthropists who funded the kind of moonshot research to take this disease to be something that could be treated. To the government that created a climate of innovation for the world's deadliest diseases. Think about all the teachers who made it possible for this little girl, my son's teacher too, who made it possible for this little girl to come to school despite her illness. And I got to brag on my little boy a little bit, and I hope I won't feel emotional or get too emotional, but I can't help but feel gratitude to him. Because I got a note a couple months ago, every father will appreciate this, and he told us that in this girl's weakened state, even though she was still trying to come to school most days, that their daughter was worried about going down the steps to the playground. But that every day, our little boy volunteered to hold her hand and make sure she got to go to recess with confidence. Now, our founding fathers wrote in the Constitution that the purpose of this union was to secure the blessings of liberty. And what greater blessing of liberty than to know that this little girl has a good chance, to know that the work of an army of doctors and researchers made it possible for your little girl or your little guy to show a moment of compassion to this little girl, to show that greatness that I believe God places in the heart of every human being, made possible because this little girl happened to grow up at a time and in the greatest country in the history of the world. That's the American story, my friends. Look, it's not my job to tell you how to live your life. It's not my job to tell you who to fall in love with, how to worship, or even whether to root for the Bengals or the Browns. Though, sorry, John, you should be rooting for the Bengals. You too. Actually, Bernie, you're probably more of a Cleveland fan than John is. But my job, the job of the President of the United States, the job the President demands of every single person in his administration, from the Vice President on down, is to fight for you. It's to fight for your blessings of liberty, for a neighborhood that's safe, a job that's dignified, a church that's protected, and a community of citizens where every single person has both the right and the duty, but also the obligation to write their story in the chapter of the United States of America. And so, my fellow Americans, my fellow Ohioans, my fellow Middletonians, I believe that this November, you and I and our fellow citizens, we're going to go to the ballot box and we're going to face a choice. Do we believe in the United States of America? Do we believe in the hardworking men and women who built this great nation? Do we demand that our government serve us and our children rather than fraudsters and criminals? Do we demand that the American president fight for the American people first? Then, my friends, I ask you, each and every one of you, to stand on your own conscience, to vote for patriots, to vote for people who are going to fight for you, to vote for John Houston for the United States Senate and for Vivek for the governor of Ohio. Get out there and fight for yourself by telling the far-left radicals who have taken over the Democratic Party, this is not your country, it's our country, and we're going to fight for it. God bless you, and thank you for having me.
It never fails to have haters come onto my show. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you are one of the pussy-ass men that work at a company where I used to work, that I'm going back to, I don't play no fucking games. Let me just tell you right now. Just so you guys know what I'm talking about. And some of you guys don't like the cursing. That's okay. This channel can only go for so long. One of the pussy tarts that works at the company where I used to work heard me talking about how the company that I used to work for wants me back. Listen how evil these pieces of shits are. They have gone to a previous supervisor, which I actually had a problem with before, and they have gone and told him that I am being begged by that company. That is an absolute lie. I didn't say they're begging me back. So they want me back. That's a compliment. They say I'm a good worker. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And so the gossip already started going on. Can you believe this? This is the same people, I kid you not. This is the same people who vote Democrat. This is the people that used to be envious and jealous because I'm better than they are. Because I'm smarter. I work hard. This is what we fight against. You see, where I used to work at, there were people who were lazy, playing on their phones all day instead of working. And when I call them out, they'll get mad at me. Wait a minute. I'm doing the job of 3 people. And you 3 people are not even doing your job. The supervisor has no balls. I think his wife carries those balls in her purse. No skills to lead a team. Productivity is not at the level that it should be because of the supervisor and the ineptitude of him as a supervisor. I find it so interesting. Why would they come into my show hiding? Is that right? They come hiding, being the good old keyboard warriors that they are. They're pussy ass, all of them. Bunch of pussies. I'm telling you, I wish that I can meet some real Democrats. There is no more. They all the men have manginas in the Democratic Party. I don't know where they went. And if you are a real man in the Democratic Party, I suggest that you just walk away. Walk away right now. Matt, thank you for the wishes. You know, what's crazy is that I came in, I got blocked already. Uh-oh, Pussyfoot Productions is here. He heard pussies, and he just came out. It's just perfect timing, man. Perfect timing. I'm going to tell you what, I still got some time. There is another clip that I want to show you guys, but how about we, let me change this. Let me change this back here. I have this background that I can change. Let's see if I can change it. Hold on. Let's go back. Where are you? Where are you? Man, I love that beat. Just like a boss. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Let me go ahead and let me see. Let me see. Man, this thing is just getting on my nerves. Let's see. Where's my TDS? TDS call in right here. Okay, there we go. I like to give you guys a chance, all right? I want to give you guys a chance. You know, maybe I should make a different scene for this. Yeah, maybe I should. I should make a different scene for this. All right, let's see. I'm going to give you a chance. I'll give you a chance to call in. Don't say I never did anything for you. Don't say I never did anything for you. All right, here you go. You guys can go ahead. Give me a call. 425-583-1155. No block numbers. Now, you guys by now know why I say no block numbers. Now, I want to tell you something. If you call in, I always say this. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to make your point. If you start lying, I'm going to stop you. And I'm going to ask you to specify or verify. It is that simple. Don't call me unless you have proof. And if you have proof, fantastic. We'll agree or we agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, now, Matt, I want the keyboard warriors that have been saying that I've been lying all these people that are just, threatening my life or whatever, call in. Let's have a conversation. Let's see where it goes. Turn the volume up on this baby. Now, here's what I want you to do. What I want you to do is this. If you're going to talk about the economy, you got to tell me about everything on the economy. No, don't just come over here with Trump's Iran war. Bullshit. The economy has been suffering for a very long time. Decades. It has been suffering. Let's not forget to mention that we have had open border policy from the Democratic Party under the Digital Pence administration. Millions of illegal immigrants pour into this country, affecting the economy, bringing diseases through Texas, bringing more drugs, human trafficking, etc. All of that affects the economy. Now, with that being said, if you do say something about Trump, you better know as much information about your Democratic Party as you do about President Trump. Because I get people coming in here sometimes and they start going against Trump. Oh, did you know Trump did this, A, B, C, D? And they have all of these false accusations because this is what people talk on the left media. Okay, I got that. Now tell me, what about the real issues that are on the local economy? Bring it down to your city, to your state. Show me how great your blue state is. If you think that you can give free healthcare to everybody, tell me how you can do that. If you are from California, I'm going to tell you that right now. If you're from California and you bring in this whole, we have the fourth largest economy in the country, I want you to also tell me, why do you also have the largest poverty level in the country? Right next to Louisiana. Poor Louisiana. All my redneck brothers down there and my black brothers from the South. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Now, while you guys take the courage and the wisdom to call in, we're going to go ahead and listen to our great Air Force veteran, Max Afterburner. You guys may have heard of him. You guys know that I actually respect and admire this person. He's on the road, so he's doing some changes, some things in there. Let's do this. Let me go ahead and play this is what I call like a boss. All right, I'm going to play this beat. I'm going to allow you guys to call in and let's talk about it. Now, if you have Trump derangement syndrome, don't call. Don't call, because I don't want to be yelling over you. I don't want to have to destroy you with curse words. I want to have a conversation. If you're going to say something about Trump, you better have something else to talk about. All right? So I suggest you forget about Trump's issues and tell me, how can we fix your city's problems? How can we fix your state's economy? And I want you to tell me, what has your government been doing to create money? There you go. That's the simplest question. What has your government been doing to create more jobs and to help the economy? Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. I want you to tell me that. So have that in mind. I want you to tell me what your local government has been doing that makes your state successful. I want you to give me employment numbers. I want you to tell me all of the good, positive things that your government is doing without mentioning Trump for their failures. Hit it. Come with it. Oh, we got a call from LA. Who's calling?
Nah, not from LA, from Louisiana. Hey, what's up, Mr.
Oh, I'm
Dennis?
sorry I had to mention Louisiana, brother. I love you guys. So sorry. What's up, brother?
What's up? What's up, Mr. Dennis? It's Ricardo here.
Hey, Ricardo.
Nothing
Good
much,
to hear
man.
you, brother.
Nothing much, man. You know me, I don't give a shit about Trump, man, or
Yeah.
or the Democrats or the Republicans, man. You know, it's an issue here, man. You know,
American.
because they're not doing anything here, man, to help or fix the local economy.
That's what it's about. It's about the local economy. Listen, if the local economy is doing great, let's talk shit about Trump. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what do you
Right.
see happening over there in Louisiana? Now, before you say that, I believe that there is some jobs coming your way very soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but as of right now, nothing. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have a good job. You know,
Yeah, I
my
know you're a
family's
hard
fortunate
worker.
to have a good job. You know, but just because I have a good job doesn't mean a lot of families aren't having financial issues around here, and that's the issue, man. And you see it very, very, very much, man. Especially with drugs out here, man. You have
Oof.
fentanyl everywhere. You
Yep.
have fucking people
Yep.
like zombies
Yep.
everywhere out here, man. Not even that. What throws me the most, man, is fucking potholes are everywhere, bro. It's like we have street lights that don't even work, bro. It's like, what's going on, bro? Where's this money going to, bro?
Exactly. I really, that's one thing that I really want to hit, man. I want to know where this money's going. I really want to know. You already heard me saying this, right? I mean, if I was in government, I would make sure that everybody that pays into the taxing system knows how much taxes exactly has been collected. This can be done, I would say maybe every quarter,
Right.
every quarter, every semester. We can have an update for the people and say, okay, we collected this many taxes so far, and this is where every dollar has gone. Okay, so we gave the schooling this, we gave the money for the infrastructure this much. This is being built in the south end of the city, the north end.
Another issue we have here in Louisiana, especially here in New Orleans, man, is when it fucking rains, Mr. Dennis. 10 minutes worth of rain, it floods the area, man, like ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
Our sewage is crazy.
Yeah, the sewers. Yep.
But the whole thing is like, you guys around here get money every year. You get funding, federal funding, bro.
Yeah,
Not only
yeah.
federal funding, you get your own state.
Yeah.
Funding, and because we live in Louisiana, we have something called a parish tax. So
Oh.
you tax us 3 fucking times, Mr. Dennis. Not
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
These
Hey,
people tax us
I know how you
3
talk.
times, man.
Yeah.
3 times, man. And there has been no change with the Republicans or the Democratic Party, man. That's why I consider myself, Mr. Dennis, an independent, man.
Yeah. You know what? That's what I love about Donald Byron. That is the goal. Byron Donalds, I mean. That's what I love about him. He has the same mentality that he's smarter than me, but he has the same idea as I have, that transparency is key. I think that us, as Americans, right, as the people, I think that we will trust our government more. We will blame them less if we knew where the money was going, how much and where it goes. And I'm going to tell you this, with what you're telling me about the sewers and all these other stuff, there's 2 things that is going on. One of them, of course, the most important one, will be the government, because they're collecting money to take care of these things. They're not cleaning these sewers. They're not taking care of that stuff. And then second, which is also important, is that people need to fucking stop throwing garbage on the streets, because if the trucks don't clean that up, that goes into the drain, and then you guys are going to be paying the price for it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, those are the things that need to be addressed, but it needs to be made public, that at least they're talking about it, so you can say, hey, you know what, the government is doing this, but the people are screwing it up.
But that's the issue, man, because when it's time to have these monthly city council meetings, man,
Right.
they're supposed to be public. They don't do it publicly, man. They'll deny people access to come in on some other bullshit excuses, talking about maintenance and under reconstruction. But every monthly meeting, it's under reconstruction, it's under renovation. That's a way that they lie to not have people go in there, man, and bring up issues.
Well, did you watch the live yesterday when I was showing the video about Seattle?
No.
Okay, so they put a sign that the park, there's a park in the West Seattle, Beautiful view of the downtown. Both of our stadiums are there. Beautiful lighting. It's phenomenal. I think a lot of people can just sit there and watch it, have a little coffee or whatever. Maybe, it's beautiful. But anyways, the Democrats have this sign saying the park is closed. Now, there's no fences, nothing. And you got all these homeless and all these druggies out there. There's people having sex in the park. No joke.
It's become almost like an encampment for them.
Yeah, it is an encampment. And they put this sign that says that it's closed, but they don't enforce it. They just allow these people to go have sex like animals in the wild. I mean, I don't blame them for that part, but they're being drug addicts.
But you know what the issue is with that, right? Is you'll take a public park away that belongs to the community, to the public. If that park becomes to the public, it belongs to the public, right? You'll take away a public area, right?
Yep.
So I'm not going to say that these drug addicts and these homeless people don't need help.
Yeah, no, they do need help. They do need help.
What these people need are institutions, right? Why don't you guys pay these fucking Republicans and Democrats pay out of their own pockets, right? All this money that they're stealing. Why don't they use that money to build facilities and shit like that, man? Because you see nothing getting built here, man. You don't see anything getting built here, man.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, every single politician, bro, these guys are like garbage. I have like no respect for them because I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. Bring it. How are you going to fix this? And every single one of them put American citizens last. That pisses me off. Number one, but number two is like they have no solutions. They promise to do all of these things that they're going to do, and then when they don't get a reaction, fuck Trump. Why do you have to bring Trump? You make a plan for your city, for your state, whatever it is that you're trying to represent. Make a plan for that, and then after you're in office, they talk with the president, see what's going on. If you disagree with him, go talk with him.
You're very right, man, Mr. Dennis. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I used to be a Democrat, right?
Me too. I've been both, but yeah.
I stopped being a Democrat, man, because it's like once Donald Trump got elected his first term, man, it's like you guys made him a boogeyman. Like you guys made him into this guy that like everything's his fault, so we don't have to fix anything because the fault is Donald Trump's. So you guys stop building policies, bro. You guys just gave the fuck up, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? I'm embarrassed to have ever considered myself a fucking Democrat, Mrs. Dennis.
It's sad. Sad but true.
It's so, now I consider myself an independent, bro, and it's just like, bro, I don't feel, man, I feel like we're at a point here in America, man, where we're having equality. There's going to be a war here, Mr. Dennis, and it's not going to be a race war. It's going to be an equality war, bro. It's going to be the rich versus the poor here in this country.
Yeah. I had a math teacher when I was in high school. Very genius guy. Always smelled like tobacco. He was a smoker. He always dressed ghetto, bro. Like the old professors that are they just kind of sloppy. He was very sloppy, bro. But that guy was a fucking genius. And he told me, that what he saw in the future was the middle class is going to be wiped out. You're going to be rich or poor.
Class, Mr. Dennis. There is no more middle class anymore, man.
Yeah, it's disappearing.
Back in the day, in my current position with me and my wife and my kids, man, we would be considered upper middle class, but that's non-existent anymore, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah, that's why we have to fight. We got to fight because just because it's going away doesn't mean that it needs to or has to. We can always maintain that. And that's the whole thing. If the people are trying to buy into these socialist, communist, Marxist ways, and they don't understand how horrible that thing is,
Right.
You have a failing economy in our country, not because of the president, but because of every single politician and governor and mayor that don't take a responsibility and hold themselves accountable for their mistakes.
Absolutely, man. And another issue, right, that they say we have a housing crisis. We have a housing crisis, right, but we don't have a crisis that we can't build homes. The issue with that is, Mr. Dennis, is that we have so many fucking rules in cities and counties that it makes it hard to implement.
Yeah, regulation.
Because you have to pay all these fines and fees and penalties, man, that a home a home just off the materials that you might need to build a home, it might be $75,000.
Yeah.
Then for labor and everything man wise, it might be 50 grand. You're talking about you're talking about $125,000, man. Right now, man, it costs me around $250,000 to $275,000 just to build a home here, man.
Yeah.
And then you're not even talking about the purchasing price of buying the land to build on, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that have there's a lot of ignorance going on. There's a lot of fear. A lot of people are making dumb decisions because of fear. But this is why you got to use your common sense. And you got to realize, especially like the older people. They're so stuck on their ways. You can't really, like they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, and you know what? You hit on something, Mr. Dennis, because you're absolutely right. And that's a problem that we have, man, with our people who are in office, man. Is they're old, Mr. Dennis. They're old. They're set.
They need to retire, man. They need to retire.
Exactly, Mr. Dennis. They're set financially. Their families are set financially. So you stop becoming, what's the word I'm looking for, man? In tune with reality, man.
Yeah.
You start understanding
common sense, brother.
Real life, everyday American issues, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not one of the ones that can sit here and be like, man, I'm struggling. I'm fucked up financially. I'm not, Mr. Dennis. I thank God. I have a good job. I've been working since I've been 17 years old, man. I'm grateful for that. But I know that there's a lot of people, Mr. Dennis. I work with a lot of people, Mr. Dennis, who work. They work 10, 12 hours, man, and live paycheck to paycheck, Mr. Dennis. And there's an issue with that here in America, Mr. Dennis. There is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I appreciate your call, brother. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have a good one, man.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan, man. And one thing I will say, I don't agree with a lot of the shit you say. But
Yeah.
but you
it's
accept
my opinions,
phone
yeah.
calls, man. You accept phone calls. You're up for just hearing people out, even debating people. I respect that shit, man. That's the issue, man. I don't respect nobody, man. I don't care what party you represent, what side you claim, man. If you can't have a debate, bro, and if you just shut the other side out with, that's not even American, my boy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm Mexican.
Yeah,
know what I'm
but
saying?
but the problem with that is that a lot of people come in here, like some people that come in here. Oh, I owned you last night. It's like, what do you mean you own me? And a lot of people just call in to just try to cuss me out or things like that. It's like, there's a reason why I say no block numbers, because if you call me in and you're just talking a bunch of nonsense, if you're able to have a conversation, let me ask you some questions. Don't tell me to shut up when I'm the host. Like, this is something that they don't understand, right? They think that this show is theirs. No, it's mine. Like, you want to participate, you got to respect the host.
You got to call in with some respect now, man.
Yeah, I used to call the radio stations. I used to listen to a lot of Spanish radio stations, and I remember I called El Piolín, down in L.A. And
yeah.
I called them in, and they call him el carechucho, the dog face, because the guy is ugly. But man, he clowned on me so bad when I called in, bro, and I was just laughing because I know what they're about, But at the end of the call, he's like, "Thank you so much, man, for being a good sport." I was like, "Nah, man." I said, "I love you guys' show, bro. You're right on with stuff, but it's you call in, bro, and that's the host, man. If you don't want to talk to the host, don't call. Like,
don't call. Correct. Don't call, man. But now, like I say, Mr. Dennis, man, this is another reason why I stopped being a Democrat, man, because Democrats force people to feel the way the Democratic Party wants to feel, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, bro.
Right.
We're grown men, bro.
Yeah.
And we're grown men and women, bro. And it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, Mr. Dennis, there's a lot of things you say that I don't agree with, man. But I like you because you do take these conversations. you hear them out, and you're not afraid to. Okay, we have differences. And that's what it is.
Give me one thing that you disagree with.
Say that again.
Give me one thing you disagree with.
You want me to be honest with you?
Yeah, I don't want you to just be nice to me.
Okay.
I know we're good, but something you disagree with so people can hear.
Mr. Dennis, I truly believe, man, that the same way you feel about the Muslims,
Yeah.
you truly need to feel that way about the Jewish community, Mr.
Yeah.
Dennis. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. The Muslim community doesn't have the best interest for us.
Yeah.
Neither do the Jews.
Okay, yeah. So let me address that for you.
Yes, sir.
So here's the thing that, and I think a lot of people miss this point. I believe in the freedom of religion, and I believe that we can have Muslims, we can have all. I believe that. I believe we can have everything. The problem with Muslims, all right, is this thing. I don't hear Jews saying death to America. I don't see Jews trying to override our laws. It's a good concern, but the Muslims, you have to understand that the Quran says that if you don't follow Sharia law, you are to be put to death. And the Sharia law needs to be the supreme law of the land, meaning that the United States law doesn't have to be enforced, or any country's law for that matter. This is why they have a lot of rapes and a lot of crimes against non-Muslim people because of that.
Mr. Dennis, you're absolutely right. I'm not fighting you on that, Mr. Dennis. Not one bit, man. Not one bit am I gonna fight you there on that, Mr. Dennis, because you're absolutely right. We don't share the same beliefs. Have you ever read the Torah, the Judea Torah, Mr. Dennis?
A little bit, not much.
You haven't, because they don't align with us either, Mr. Dennis. That's all I'm saying.
But they're not trying to change our law. That's the point.
They don't have to, because you know who
Why?
controls media, Mr. Dennis. I think you do, Mr. Dennis.
Well,
so
the Democrats give billions of dollars to the media.
Both Democrats and the Republicans.
But
I don't have to say out of my mouth, Mr. Dennis, I want things to change. When all I have to do is put on movies, homosexuality. I don't agree with homosexuality, Mr. Dennis. I don't think you do.
I don't agree with them, but they can do whatever they want.
Absolutely. But do you know the most homosexual place in the world is Jerusalem?
They're gonna pay for it, and they're gonna pay for it.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But that's God's judgment. What we're talking about is law.
It's law, man's law.
Yeah, so we're not talking about religion. When I mentioned the Muslims, yeah, of course, it's a man-made religion. That's fine. But when I talk about Muslims, I'm not talking anti-religion. It's not a religious talk. I know that's the way it looks like, but it's not a religious talk. It is a morality talk, which in turn has to do with God. But the point is this: that the Jews.
You are absolutely right about
listen.
that, because I was just about to say morality does come.
Yeah. No, but listen.
Okay, yes, sir.
If the Muslims are in Christian countries, and they're pedophiles and they're marrying little tiny children, okay, we don't accept that shit here. So it's got to go, right? And then in Israel, the same thing. If they do those things over there, fuck it, keep it over there. Don't bring it here. And if I see that they're doing that here, I'll call them out. All I'm saying is, if you come to this country, assimilate. There are some things that you are allowed to do because of the freedom of religion, and there is other things that tells me that you're using your religion as an excuse to attack my country, and we just can't stand for that. So there you go. So you disagree with me, but I think the context on why you disagree with me is wrong. Because it's not about the Muslims that are just, their religion is horrible, even though I believe that. They can still practice their religion, but that's not what they're trying to do. They're praying 5 times a day, death to America. That's not a religion that we want to support here. I don't hear the Jews saying death to America 5 times a day, and they're praying.
I'm with you. You're right.
So that's why I don't speak the same about, when I say Israel, I'm not talking about the Jews. I'm not talking about the religious beliefs. I don't give a shit about what they do.
No. Yeah, I totally know how to assimilate the difference. You're talking about the nation state.
Correct.
Of Israel.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can I ask you a question though? Do
yeah,
you
of
think
course.
that the American politicians are too beholden to the nation state of Israel?
What do you mean specifically?
Do you not find the issue, Mr. Dennis, that 88% of our congressmen, our senators, are in bed with that are getting money funded? Americans don't even send money anymore, Mr. Dennis, to any politicians. All the politicians are funded by foreign states, whether it's China, whether it's Russia, whether it's Israel, because it's not Israel that does it. It's a lot of countries. Do you not find the issue with that, Mr. Dennis?
Well, depends. Who would you take money from?
No, but you can't, Mr. Dennis. If you're taking money from any foreign country, that's an issue, Mr.
Well,
Dennis.
it's that we have lobbyists here in America. We have lobbyists here in
No,
America. We take money from that.
I know. In any other country, that's called motherfucking corruption. You know this just like I know this, Mr. Dennis. But here in the United States, it's called lobbying. I know this, Mr.
Yeah.
Dennis. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but if the law doesn't punish it, that's what I'm saying. Stand by the law. If it's
Mr.
something
Dennis,
that
there's
the
a lot
law
of
calls it
things-
illegal,
Mr.
guess
Dennis,
what? They will punish them,
Mr.
but they
Dennis,
don't.
There's a lot of things the law does not punish that you know and I know are wrong, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah, but that's my point. That's my point. I stand by the law, even though I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's it, brother.
I respect that.
Good
I
point.
respect
It's
that,
a good
Mr.
point. Trust me,
Yeah,
there's some things that I don't like, and it contradicts me. You know, that says, well, that's the law. Yeah, I know, fucking. The justice system is I can complain about it.
Crazy.
You know what
Yes,
I mean?
Sir, it's crazy. Yes, sir,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. There's a lot of things that I think that are not right in our justice system. But if this is what the law is, it is what it is. There's some laws that I think are pieces of shit, but that's the law. I gotta respect it.
For sure,
Yeah.
man.
But I'm with you. I
just
like your
wish
moral
that,
stance. I like your moral stance.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. I just wish that we would emphasize problems here in America
Yeah.
instead of going abroad, spending all this money. We would just focus on shit here, man. Because
Yeah. Well, remember, Israel gives us that money back. You know that, right?
how so?
Yeah. So we don't give money. We don't give billions of dollars to Israel so that they can go buy cars.
No,
We give them
Mr.
that
Dennis,
money, but they buy the equipment from us. They buy missiles from us. All that money comes back to us.
Mr. Dennis, you're an intelligent man, Mr. Dennis. I know this. I hear how you speak. Mr. Dennis, let me explain this to you. If I give you $500, Mr. Dennis,
Yeah.
and I say, Mr. Dennis, you can only shop in my store, the Garcia store, right?
Right.
You come back and you shop in my store.
Yeah.
And then my wife is like, why did you do that, Ricky? Why did you do that? Why did you just give him free food? And I'm like, well, no, I gave him $500, but he had to spend the $500 at my store. I still gave him $500, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah.
Of
But
food
then-
that I could have sold. It doesn't make any sense, Mr. Dennis. You know why it doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
Because we don't live in a country, Mr. Dennis, that anything is state-owned. Nothing is state-owned here. So all of the money that they can do that with is
Okay.
from taxes,
Now,
Mr. Dennis.
okay, but see, the grocery store, that's a little bit of a stretch, but okay. So let's
No, it's not a grocery
wait,
store.
wait. You're looking at a one. I always told you this, and I tell everybody. I'm a Gemini. I know some people don't believe in the zodiac or whatever. I'm a double side man. What that means is I have to have two sides to the story. So in this case, it's not really like two sides, but in the example that I'm giving you is, okay, we're giving Israel this money, right? But they can only spend it on us. Is that all we're getting from Israel, or are we getting anything else?
Okay, and you know what? I
So
get where
what
you're
we're
going. I
getting
get where-
is
No.
this. Listen. What we're getting is this. What I'm
Information
getting for your
and
store.
knowledge.
Listen, I can talk with your wife and everything about your store. You gave me $500 to come and spend only in your store. What that means is that you didn't give me shit, because what I'm doing is I am actually taking some of your product or your services with me. But you don't just give me $500 and tell me to spend it in your store. I am also bringing you more product. I'm also giving you exposure. I'm bringing customers to you. I'm giving you something in return besides your own money. This is what we call trading. See, I give you money and I'm supposed to get something from you. So Israel is giving us intel. They're giving us their friendship. They are fighting terrorists, that can be harming us. But at the same time, it's like, who's getting screwed, Israel or us? Well, neither one, because Israel is safe by being able to buy those missiles, and we are also protecting America by having Israel fighting all these terrorists.
For sure. I love your analogy, Mr. Dennis.
Yes, sir.
But let me give you one more analogy, and then we can end it on this, right? Or we can end it on
Go
your
for
last
it.
analogy or whatever, right? Me, you, my cousin, and one of your cousins, we go out every night to the club.
Yeah.
Every night we go out to the club, there's an issue because of your cousin and my cousin.
Yeah.
Every night there's an issue, right?
Yeah.
And then me and you start getting beat up, right? And then our cousins jump in, right? And they have the fucking nerve to look at us and be like, man, Without us, bro, y'all would have been fucked up, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah.
How? Without y'all, we would have been fucked up when y'all put us in this predicament. With that being said, Mr. Dennis, this is why we live in such a great state, a great country, where we can just debate, have differences, come to disagreements, and just respectfully disagree.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I will fuck the shit out of. Well, not really that way. That sounded bad. I will beat the shit out of my cousin. Yeah, because I'm the alpha in the family, bro. None of my cousins can beat me up.
I believe you, Mr. Dennis. You would, and you should.
And believe me, I would. I'll tell you, I'm telling you right now. I love Israel because the Bible tells me to love Israel. That is my God. I serve and follow the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So I love Israel, the nation, the promise that God has given. That is Israel. And we are also adopted now. We're not Jews, obviously, but we are also part of Israel, just so you know. Now, that's just what I believe. We are part of God's people. That's what Israel means, God's people, right, to me. Okay, so when I say God bless Israel, yeah, there's a little piece of land over there. You may have heard me joking about it and saying that Israel should be a 51st state. Why do you think I say that?
Right. Don't misconstrue things like Israel's going to be there for the rest of its.
Oh no, Israel's going to be destroyed, but not yet.
No, Israel can't be destroyed.
It will be. It is prophetic.
Oh, yeah, prophetic. Yeah, in that sense, but my whole thing is you said something, man. You love Israel like you love your child, and you should. For your child, when to discipline when they've done something wrong.
That's
man.
right. Yeah, and I will call them out, and I will be against them. I guess Mossad is going to have to send some sort of sniper against me. I don't know, man.
Be careful now.
Hey, listen, if that happens, I earn my glory. You know what I mean? I earn my crown in heaven, baby.
That's why I'm a fan, Mr. Dennis, because you can at least acknowledge when something like
it's truth. Yeah,
you can acknowledge, man. I respect that, Mr. Dennis. I respect that.
Much love to you, Ricardo.
Like I said, you have a fan here.
You're the man, brother. Thank you for calling. Appreciate
you. Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Bye. Yeah, Ricardo's a fantastic man. It's funny because when Ricardo calls in, I get the area code from Honduras. Area code 504 is a Honduras area code. So I don't know why it shows up that way. But anyway, I appreciate it. And listen, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with me. I agree with why he thinks the way he thinks. But I have my reasons of why I support Israel. And, it's either you support him or you don't. But what I don't want you to do is that because you don't love Israel, you don't like Israel, you don't support Israel, what I don't want you to do is go and say free Palestine. You see what I'm saying? Don't take the side of the people who are claiming death to America. That's all I'm saying. So you can say you don't support Israel. That's fine. I know why I support Israel. You don't have to support it. But if you support the United States of America and you put American citizens first, you're good in my book. You see what I'm saying? You're good in my book. Crimson Wine. My hot, big booty Latina in the house. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Thank you for being here, Crimson. You are part of the crew as of now. That's crazy. Let me take a look. Now I'm curious. 504 area code. I know where you're at, but that is crazy. Honduras, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 505. Let me see. No, 505 is New Mexico. Let me see. What's this? Honduras area code. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. It's 504. It's 504, bro. That is crazy. Now, it says plus 504. Okay, so that's what it is. I think there's a... What the fuck? There's no plus when I dial Honduras. But there it is right here. Look, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you here. Ready? Just so you know. There it is. Right there. There it is. The country code for Honduras is 504. Right there. And it's even highlighted for you right there. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. That is crazy, but I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and listen to our brother here that we have on screen. This is Max Afterburner, I think is the name of the channel. So you guys, I will minimize it here so you can look it up. There you go. Bottom left right there. Make sure you go join his channel. I really, really love listening to him when he gives his reports. He's just so smart. I'm telling you, man, I respect this man greatly. And I thank him for his service. He's phenomenal. All right, let's go. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a listen.
So Iran spent 6 months telling the world it owned the Strait of Hormuz. And then just last night, 20 American escorted tankers sailed straight through it while Iran sat there and watched an empty radar screen. Plus, an Iranian shadow ship was seized by pirates. Yeah, it's getting pretty wild out there. Pirates. Yeah, those pirates just happen to know exactly where that ship was, exactly how to get on it. But at this point, everything is on the table going up against Iran. And somewhere over the Gulf of Oman right now, F-16s carrying APKWS rockets, CENTCOM posting fresh images of those F-16s loaded out with those rockets, specifically made to shoot down Iranian Shahed and other drones. But here's a cool part as well. The KC-135 was up there refueling them, and then it refueled a KC-46 Pegasus, the new aerial refueling tanker for the United States military. And Iran has publicly stated that they fear America's ability to pass gas. Yeah, well, pass gas up in the sky, the Maverick up in the sky. Not the kind of gas that comes from hanging out with General Salami too much. But $30,000 a piece is how much those rockets cost. And right now, the math is squarely against the Iranian side. Not just with the drones and the rockets, but with how many barrels of oil are flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. You got to hear this. The Trump administration has reported to Axios that 15 to 20 million barrels of oil can move through the strait every single night. Today's August 21st, everybody, and the hardware that just broke a 6-month blockade is what we're talking about, and this new stealth corridor that's moving oil through the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran can't even see it. They're going to pretend like, oh, we're in control of the Strait of Hormuz, we're so powerful. Meanwhile, 15 million barrels of oil is flowing through every single day, thanks to the U.S. military and this administration taking action. The F-16 Viper is likely one of the ones at the heart of doing all this work. That's why CENTCOM just posted a video of it today, breaking news, teamed up with the Global Hawk family orbiting above it. That's one of the most capable drones when it comes to looking at swaths of an entire ocean. And then Aegis destroyers all teamed up, being able to talk to each other. That's the system that links everything together. So the F-16 knows what an EA-18G Growler sees, so all of them know what an F-35 sees, and they know what those massive radars on the ships can see. So right now, the lane through the Strait of Hormuz is the lane that Iran swore wouldn't be able to exist. So as you can see, this regime is fully on the ropes. And this administration is like, oh, cool, Iran, you want to mess around, strike these tankers? Well, you're about to find out the hard way that the United States just doesn't care. We're going to move 15 million barrels of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. That news broke to Axios, and CNN also carried it as well. The United States military has been running convoys through the strait at night for 2 months, and Tehran never knew. 20 million some nights going through there, back into the world market. The Revolutionary Guard Corps hasn't stopped one of them. So somewhere an IRGC radar operator has now filed the same report every night. All's clear. No ships coming through. And the U.S. military is like, yeah, okay, little buddy, yeah, no ships coming through. Just keep making your cute little reports. What do you call those things? TPS reports? But we're going to get into how all of this was pulled off, but stay for the global roundup section because a Romanian F-16 rolled in on an exploding drone boat 300 meters from a gas platform with several hundred people standing on it, And instead of a missile, this pilot uses the gun. So we'll break down that footage. That's about 3/4 of the way through the video. Oh, and I thought this was super cool as well. President Trump just posted this image of the Keystone Pipeline, opening it back up, American jobs, a ton of oil flowing from up north. So what this is going to do is put even more oil back into the global economy, which is exactly what Iran doesn't want to have happen. And then Benny Johnson posted this. He said, Trump just pulled off a stealth power move that will permanently shift the global order. It was reported by CNN and Axios yesterday that America is able to move 15 million barrels of oil a day in and out of the Persian Gulf. Iran is moving 0 of their ships. Iran has completely lost control of the Strait of Hormuz to the point where all global oil market monitors are now admitting it. But this is just the start. The U.S. blockade has cut off Iranian oil from reaching China, crippling their markets and wiping out trillions. So at this point, Tehran can't explain what's going on. They're sitting back trying to act tough. Oh, we're so strong. We're in control of the strait. We burned a couple oil tankers over the last week. Yeah. You burned unarmed oil tankers. They say they control the strait, and they've said that every single week since February. And for 2 months, the United States Navy, the Air Force, and the Army, the Marines, have been walking convoys of loaded tankers right past the Iranian coast in the dark, and Iran hasn't laid a finger on them. And in my opinion, the reason why this has increased so much over the last few weeks, and we're seeing 15 to 20 million barrels of oil flow through the strait every night, is because of the campaign that happened just a couple weeks ago. It was basically 10 plus nights, a sustained campaign, taking out the actual control tower, radar dishes, drone sites, IRGC headquarters, IRGC Navy Special Operations Centers, where they probably launch a lot of the fast attack boats and drones from. Those were taken out in a systematic Strait of Hormuz campaign, and it's paying off. It's working, as well as these continuous fighter missions. But 15 million barrels a day, and some of the biggest nights up to 20 million barrels a day. 2 U.S. officials with direct knowledge laid out how it works. Those barrels go through this southern channel hugging the coast of Oman. Fixed convoys, 1 outbound block at a time set, 1 inbound block at another, Air Force fighters overhead the entire way, and it runs both directions. The Navy walks empty tankers in from the Arabian Sea, lets them load at ports in the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, and then walks them straight back out. And one of those officials said it about as plainly as an American official ever says anything. The Revolutionary Guard can be a nuisance out there, but they do not control the strait. That's perfect. We do. Now, the U.S. military piece, because this is what should make everybody sit up with pride. Those officials said American strikes have degraded Iranian coastal radars and maritime surveillance so badly that Iran largely cannot see the southern lane at all. That is the whole operation in one sentence. The lane is not open because somebody parked a battleship in it. The lane is open because the United States took out the eyes of the IRGC itself. And here's the other half. While America moves 15 million barrels a day, the steel wall of the U.S. Navy is sitting on Iran's own exports. 65 commercial vessels redirected, 3 disabled, 2 boarded, and that is CENTCOM's published count as of Wednesday. On Wednesday, a tanker on the U.S. sanctions list, one of Tehran's own Shadow Fleet ships, was boarded by what is being recounted as 6 armed men off the coast of Yemen and driven towards Somalia. Pirates, 6 with rifles. Nobody saw coming for that ship because Iran's Shadow Fleet runs dark and alone by design. So now, if we count it up, you can see that Iran hasn't only lost the Strait of Hormuz, but they're losing their Shadow Fleet around the world. 20 American escorted tankers a night under fighter cover are untouched by the IRGC. 1 Iranian tanker taken by pirates. So the entire game is changing. You guys are seeing this, right? The shifts that are taking place. And then Wednesday night, President Trump posted that any country throwing Tehran a lifeline is facing an economic D-Day. Thursday, the Treasury Secretary went on CNBC and called it a 1-2 punch. The blockade, plus the toughest sanctions in history, told America's allies they are either with us or against us, and said the details will land more on Monday, so here in a couple days. And the George Washington Strike Group entered Central Command's theater Wednesday as the Abraham Lincoln got underway for San Diego after 9 months at sea. So congratulations to all the sailors, the ones that are coming on station. You're going to do the job. You're going to do excellent. And to those going back for a little R&R, congratulations on a great deployment. But now here's some of the airplanes that are doing the work, and Central Command just showed it to us. In the footage released by Central Command just hours ago, F-16 Fighting Falcons stacked up, receiving fuel from that KC-135. And the APKWS, those rockets are 70mm rockets with a laser guidance kit strapped around it. And in this theater, the Air Force has been flying loadouts with up to 2 to 3 of those pods. And think about 15 to 20 rockets on those, each only about $20,000 to $30,000 a piece, depending on what the market cost is, right? They're like, oh, the market cost of the rocket today is $26,000. Don't you hate it when you go to a restaurant somewhere and they're like, oh, it's market cost? No, dude, tell me what I'm gonna pay, please. But an AIM-120 costs north of $1 million, an AIM-9X about $450,000, APKWS rocket, like we talked about, much more affordable, and an Iranian one-way attack drone costs a fraction of that, right? It's about $25,000 for those as well. So basically the rocket costs the exact same amount of the drone that it's going up against. So this is massive capability, and this is what's likely protecting a lot of these ships in the southern lane. Because again, Iran, if they try to blast some of these cheap drones, hey, no worries. We've got Vipers up ahead with rockets with frickin' laser beams, which is even cooler than sharks with frickin' laser beams. At this point, we've got Vipers with laser beams. I bet the sharks with frickin' laser beams just felt a little insecure. They're like, wait, you can put a laser beam on a Viper? That's way cooler. But then also the GBU-39 small diameter bomb. 250 pounds, pop-out wings, glides for tens of miles, 4 of them on the rack where 1,000 pounders used to sit, or you could replace them with 1,000 pounders, which means a single Viper can service 4 separate coastal radar sites from standoff without ever crossing into Iranian territory. It can stay what's called feet wet. So to me, that's the deepest of magazines when you go in and you have the ability to drop on multiple targets in one pass. And that's what I loved about flying with the GBU-39. Again, I needed to tell you I was a pilot. At least it took me like 10 plus minutes this time to let you know I was a pilot. But I love flying with those GBU-39s because I could target in 4 or 8 different targets and then roll in and release all of them at the same time. I mean, this weapon is just so capable. The drones can also help the F-16s see where the Iranian drones are. So enter the RQ-4 Global Hawk naval drone, potentially even electronic attack built into that. And now you've got a real team that can execute this Iranian threat as they move more and more into the proxy side of warfare. But here's the irony that you won't hear anywhere else. Right now, Iran can't see anything. The US can see more and more every single day as these crews learn the infrastructure of the different targeting chain that they're using. So RQ-4 Global Hawk, looking from that 50,000 foot perspective, pumping information down to the F-16 and the EA-18G Growler, who can also team up with the F-16. Everything in this fight comes down to whether you can service a threat at the time where it highlights itself. Because remember, Iran's going to pop up. They might even have little hiding spots along the coast. We've looked at the coastal imagery, especially in the live streams that we do, and you can see that there's little spots where Iran could pop these drones out and launch them. So you have to be able to spot this very quickly. And these systems that we're seeing, the Air Force release, the Navy release, CENTCOM tell us are up there and watching. These are the ones they're telling us that are up there, right? So think about CCAs, Combat Collaborative Aircraft. Even the Anduril Fury just fired an AMRAAM just a few weeks back. So could some new advanced drones be in theater? I mean, at this point, we know that there's robot boats, there's new advanced surface vessels, there's also a new task force that's focused on surface drones, underwater drones, and drones in the air. So I think this is the test bed of technology. And Iran's worst nightmare is coming true every single day. They're basically sitting there watching, thinking that no ships are going through the Strait of Hormuz. So that's why they keep saying it. Their public line hasn't moved an inch. The Persian Gulf Strait Authority, their official, unofficial, fake program to control the Strait of Hormuz, is what they keep leaning back on. But the IRGC is insisting that no vessels are transiting without Iranian permission. They're sitting there at that blank radar scope, and they're like, see, nothing is happening here. It's just crazy. And the oil tanker captains are like, yeah, keep looking at your radar scope, buddy. Yeah, definitely nothing to see here. They're running into a situation where now real crumbling could happen within the regime itself, because if they can't pay their troops, they can't keep basic services going. With this regime being weaker and weaker by the day, and not even understanding what's happening a few miles from their coastline, this is a real chance that the free Iranian people could have. You made it to the Global Roundup section, my friends, but there's a big story happening in the Black Sea that I want you to know. A merchant crew 80 nautical miles off of Constana spots something small and low in the water, drifting towards a gas platform with several hundred people standing on it. So then an F-16 rolled in and actually strafed the boat. This is huge. 2 F-16s launched with clearance to engage. One of them you can see in this video rolling in and hitting the drone with its 20mm cannon, potentially high explosive incendiary rounds, and then a Coast Guard vessel with a disposal team rolled in to finish this all off. Again, at this point, Russia is testing, they're probing, testing. They're looking at what Ukraine is doing with their drone boats, and Russia's like, oh, well, we got to get in on that. We got to try some of this. So the nefarious actions of Russia continue, but the F-16 had a little something to say about it. You made it to the 4D chess strategic analysis section, my friend, because at this point, the southern lane in the Strait of Hormuz was never really the entire prize. Iran's strategy in this war rested on one asset, a 21-mile wide piece of water, and the world's fear of what they could do there. That was their leverage. That was the whole hand. And America has spent 6 months taking it apart from multiple directions at once. The corridor itself, 15 million barrels a day moving under American hardware, moving under American laser-guided rockets, while Iranian radars show nothing. Second, the steel wall on the other side of the ledger. 65 vessels redirected, 3 disabled, and Iran's biggest customer walking away from their September products. And then Direction 3, the Keystone XL pipeline, now back on the table. Finally, American jobs, crude going from Canada to Wyoming with a project that would reuse 150 kilometers of pipe that's already sitting in the ground from the original Keystone XL. And then Venezuela crossing 1 million barrels a day sent to the United States in June, and its state producers saying 1.25 million by the end of the month, with American imports from Venezuela at their highest since 2019. And the UAE accelerating a pipeline built for exactly one purpose, making the Strait of Hormuz irrelevant. You guys see what's happening? All over the world, moves are being made by the Trump administration to make the Strait of Hormuz irrelevant. So what do you guys think? Do you think that the conflict needs to kick back off? Or do you think by making the Strait of Hormuz irrelevant, 15 million barrels a day, that the U.S. military strangling that mullah money out of the mullahs is actually going to once and for all set up a condition for the regime to crumble, or at least for them to be irrelevant? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and follow me on X, follow me on Instagram. I'm posting there pretty much every day. Hope you guys enjoyed this view. I'm here in beautiful Kalispell, Montana. We did a little bit of rafting yesterday in Glacier National Park. Can't recommend this place enough. This place just makes me proud to be an American. It's so beautiful. And I'm heading to do the Cleared Hot podcast with Andy Stumpf. More to come on that. I'll post some updates here on these videos and on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Ryan, also known as Max Afterburner, signing off.
I had to let him put his plug in there. Gotta do it. Ryan, Max Afterburner. Love this guy. Man, I would love to have conversations with this guy about just missions that he's flown, and I mean, that's a lot of years in the service in the Air Force. I'm sure he has a lot of great stories to share with us. Let me go ahead and grab a couple of clips here that I got left. And this is a person, I guess, after 8 years, Poland has rejected her residency. I wonder why.
It is time for me to leave Poland. I got a decline on my residency visa renewal.
But that's crazy. 1 second. So you spent 8 years here. You already had a residence visa, right? So why would they reject you after you've already been here for a long time?
Because I'm not an immigration specialist. I don't have all the answers on that. And basically it comes down to I changed my reason for being here. I received the decline, and then my specialist said we would appeal. But I just said, okay, I'm done. It took over 16 months, and that's a long time to sit still, to miss out on a lot of opportunities.
What are the opportunities that actually you missed out on while you were waiting for this residence card?
I missed out on work opportunities. Modeling was something that I could have gone to China, and, family opportunities. I had two family members that got married. I couldn't have an answer to say I can accept the invitation because I didn't know when my visa would be processed. Unfortunately, I had an aunt who was ill with cancer, and she had came here to Poland. I took her all over. She loved Poland. And then unfortunately her cancer came back, and I wanted to go back to the United States to see her. I applied for a visa to try to do that, to go to the US from Poland, but unfortunately because of my visa being pending here, I was not accepted to be able to go home to Alaska.
Technically you can leave, obviously you just can't come back. If you have spent so much time and money and effort to renew a Karta Pobetu, you can't just leave.
Right, exactly. It's difficult, and you're sitting and you're checking the status and you're waiting and you're hoping, and you were given certain dates and that date comes and goes and you're still thinking.
So 8 years. This is Poland. Maybe the rules are different. 8 years waiting for a green card. Is that what it was? Or was it she already had a green card, right? She had a green card. Man, I missed it. I got text and I got distracted. I'm going to have to listen to it again.
On my residency visa renewal.
But that's crazy.
Okay, so she had a renewal on the visa, and it got rejected. That's what it is. When it comes to having a green card, just so you know, and I think this goes for every country, I think, but here in the United States of America, when you have a green card, for some reason, some people think that is their human right. It's not the human right. It is a privilege to be allowed to come into this country. It's a privilege to have a green card. It is a great privilege and honor to say that you are an American citizen. Now, those are all privilege stuff that you get. They're not human rights. They're not rights for everybody. You go tell China about human rights and that you should be a Chinese citizen. You know what I'm saying? And then you go and talk to Japan. Well, maybe Japan will. I don't know. You go to a Muslim country and tell them to give you citizenship and then violate all of their laws and their terms and see what they say. I would like to see that happen. Yeah. All right, I'm reading some other comments. When the wifey addresses me, I have to pay attention. I do have to get off here soon. It looks like we only got 50 people in here anyway. So we're going to go ahead and go to some quick clips. Let me go ahead and give you one clip here from the mayor of Seattle. And let's see what they're talking about here.
Hey, good morning. Here's your Como Morning Minute on this Friday, August 21st. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson is acknowledging public safety concerns may be hurting her standing with voters. A new poll puts her favorability at just 37%. That's down 20 points since April. Wilson says she understands the concerns, and she's insisting public safety remains a top priority as the city prepares to search for a permanent police chief. Also this morning, 8 people are dead after a chartered plane crash at a remote U.S. military radar site in western Alaska. That plane, carrying 2 pilots and 6 passengers, went down while approaching Cape Newenham. That's about 450 miles west of Anchorage. The NTSB is investigating. And the Seahawks are one big step closer to new ownership. 2 NFL committees have unanimously recommended approval of that sale to the Vinod Khosla-led ownership group. And all 32 teams vote next Wednesday in Atlanta, and 3/4 must approve that deal.
Go Hawks! Go Hawks! All right, so flight accident in Alaska, and the Seattle socialist mayor acknowledging the error of her ways that she was wrong about. I'm going to share this quick clip here. It's a 10-minute clip, but we're not going to listen to all of it. Big disclaimer, the guy playing this video is a Jew, so, he has a lot of what I would call maybe not conflict of interest, but he's always defending Israel. I mean, that's his country. That's what he defends. He defends all the Jews. That is not what I do. There's a big difference between me and him. All right, there's a big difference between me and him. It's just like something that people don't understand about me and Trump. I will call Trump out on some of the things that I disagree with, but I mean, most of the things that I disagree with is that he's too soft. I just think that he should be tougher. And just imagine just the way that people are today, with the way that President Trump is. They think he's a tyrant. He's not doing enough. Not for me. He's not doing enough. There's a lot of laws that are being broken, and he needs to make sure that they are all enforced, and he's not. So there is that. Now, Matt, you said that I'm, you have to understand something. First of all, I appreciate that you're reading the amendments, that you're reading the Constitution, but I need you to go and look. I have the freaking Constitution here, and I read the Constitution myself. I don't have it memorized, but I read the Constitution where I need to read. And I'm going to tell you this. It's not enough for you to just read the Constitution. You got to read the Constitution and then go and follow the laws that are made based on that Constitution. You can't just read the Constitution and say, this is it. You got to go and read the laws, the authorization that certain places have. Like, for example, the power to the federal government on immigration, the due process. What is due process? Anybody? Oh, Matt, my bad. Oh, the commentator. I got you. My bad. I thought you disagree. I was like, oh, broads. But you know what? Let's touch on that anyway. Fucking Matt. I'm surprised. No, I'm not trashing you, Matt. I'm not trashing. Just so you know, you got my love and respect. You know that already. All right? I appreciate you. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people don't know what due process is. Okay, so I look at the Constitution and I say, okay, well, here we go. And this is where I get my deductions off. And then I go and take a look at the federal government, immigration, blah, blah. You guys know that I'm well informed on this. And then I go and say, okay, what can they do? What can they do? Here's something that people on the left argue. When ICE agents, they have a retainer. They have all this information. People that have been waiting too long to run their paperwork, their visas have expired. They're illegal. If they don't take care of that right away, they're going to get deported. And if they have kids, those kids should get deported with them. But here's the problem. The problem is that people go out there and protest ICE. First of all, that it's a felony to obstruct any investigations from the federal government. If you're just protesting on the sidewalk peacefully, there's nothing wrong with that. But once you get in the middle of the road and you start throwing stuff at ICE agents, your ass should be going straight to jail at that moment. And that is a felony that is going to be very harshly judged because it's a federal law. But what the federal ICE agents are doing is they have this a list of retainers. They have specific photos, pictures of the people that they're looking for. They're looking for violators, rapists, etc. People that have an order of deportation. They're not safe. And instead of supporting that, they go crazy and then they get caught. Citizens being arrested because they're dumbasses, not because ICE is taking away citizens. That's not why they do that. They go to jail because they're out there obstructing justice. As they should go to jail, they do. With that being said, an ICE agent does not need a warrant to come and arrest somebody that they're looking for. If you're an illegal immigrant, this is why they ask you for ID, proof of citizenship. If you don't have it, I got you. I understand. But at least identify yourself. Stop being this hard ass. All you're doing is creating chaos. You're making the situation even worse for us. I know some like Mexicans that have become American citizens. These guys have heavier accents than I have. My accent, I can't get rid of it because I grew up with a bunch of black people that talk different, with a lot of Vietnamese that talk different, with Russians, with a bunch of people from all other countries. They all have accents. And this is how I speak English. So, forgive me for not having a better accent, but I don't give a fuck about what you think anyway. With that being said, if an ICE agent is chasing a person, an illegal immigrant, and that person goes into somebody's property they do no longer need a warrant to go into that property. If they go inside the house, if they go inside a business, if they go inside a building, they no longer need a warrant to go into those premises. Do you understand that? If you didn't know, now you know. So if you do not allow ICE agents to come in there after they seen the illegal immigrant that they're going after, if you don't allow them to go in the house, you are now harboring and you are being an accomplice to hiding this person that they're looking for. You're obstructing justice, you're obstructing federal agents, and you're obstructing their capturing of this illegal immigrant. You can get hit with some charges as well. With that being said, they do not need a warrant for an arrest. Now, since I touched that up, I'm going to go ahead and flip the coin here a little bit, okay? Love me some beans. Listen, I'm going to flip the coin here a little bit. You know how the Democrats in the sanctuary cities, they say, oh, the police officers, they don't have they don't have to impose immigration law. I get it. They don't. But they can arrest a criminal. That's simple. If somebody is a rapist, a murderer, drug dealer, etc., ICE agents or, DHS, they shouldn't be going out there and making it look like there is some sort of immigration law that they're making police officers follow. You don't deport. You don't check citizenship. But if somebody's a rapist, you have the duty as a police officer to act on it, because your job as a police officer is to maintain the peace. Any American citizen that goes out there protesting, the moment that they start committing assaults, the police has to arrest people. If ICE agents are going after a criminal, the police department has the responsibility to detain any criminal. Can they deport? Of course not. But if they are criminals, what DHS needs to do is get a warrant for those criminals. And then the police department has to be involved. I don't even work for the police department. I should run for the chief of police instead. I know, because then the governor is going to want to fire him. We can't do that. Anyways, let's go ahead and listen to this clip. Again, disclaimer, I know I went on the rails because I misunderstood Matt's comments. But this is Sahar TV. He's got 764,000 subscribers. He's been shadow banned a couple of times. And this is a video from 1 day ago. Got 15,000 views, which that number is actually probably not accurate, to be honest. It's probably a lot higher than that. But he is Israeli. He is a Jew. So there is some sort of conflict of interest, okay, that can happen on the videos that he plays, because they're always about defending Israel. That's not what I do until somebody mentions it, okay? Now, with that being said, here we go. Matt, I told you I memorized my driver's license. That's not enough. I can memorize your driver's license as well, and your birth certificate, and your birth date. That doesn't mean that I'm you. You see what I'm saying? The driver's license picture shows you what you look like, your skin color, your age. It shows everything about you. Memorizing the number, that's not enough. You can do that if you're filling out a form, application, or whatever it is. That's fine. Just put the driver's license number in there. I will tell you this, if you are trying to get an apartment, you're not just going to write down your driver's license number. I need to make a copy of that driver's license or whatever ID, green card, passport, whatever it is you have. I need a copy of that ID. Doesn't matter what kind of document it is. Just knowing the number, that doesn't mean shit. I can know your number, your date of birth. I can steal your information and know your address, but only a real license will show who I really am. And I don't show it to you, but I have an enhanced license, which, by the way, I got to get in hold of the court system, send them an email. Yes, because I had an encounter with the police. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video because I am running out of time here. You guys know that I have a date with the wife. I gotta get some things done. But I think that I'm going to go live later today, and I think this weekend as well.
Gaza Strip. And, well, these guys were actually members of Hamas. And they want to vote today.
Okay.
That's okay?
I can vote, right? If he vouches.
If he signs, then I can vote, right?
Correct. If he's vouching that
Look here, I'll be honest, I don't want to get like legally in trouble for anything.
How you doing? This is Sahar TV, and you have to watch this video. It's gonna blow your mind. A YouTuber decided to go to the Minnesota voting booths and bring fake members of Hamas to see if they can vote using the vouching program. The results will shock you. Watch this.
These guys were actually members of Hamas. They got here recently. I don't really know their citizenship status. They're from the Gaza Strip, and they want to vote today. That's okay?
I can vote, right?
correct. If he's vouching, you can vouch for up to 8 people.
My friends here would need to show what?
If you're vouching for them, they wouldn't need to show anything.
They don't need to show anything. Is that like a common thing for people to vouch for Hamas members? This electoral system, there is a process known as vouching, where a registered voter can vouch for 8 non-voter registered individuals, and the vouching process stands in for a proof of ID or residency or other documentation that the vouchee would need to show in order to register to vote. So in other words, if I was registered to vote here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I could vouch for 8 other individuals who are not registered to vote, and all I would need to do is swear that I am verifying that the individuals I am vouching for live in the same precinct as I do. So what we're going to do today is speak to some election workers and ask, is it okay for me to vouch for some of my friends who just got flown in from the Gaza Strip, who are members of Hamas, and is it okay for them then to participate in today's election? Hi. We want to know more about the vouching.
So if you all live in this precinct, if one of you is able to register with the identity and residence verification documents, you can vouch for others who may live in the precinct as well. And you can vouch for up to 8 people as long as everyone lives in this particular precinct.
And then my friends here would need to show what?
If you're vouching for them, they wouldn't need to show anything.
They don't need to show anything.
Correct.
If they don't have to show anything, how can they prove they actually live in the state of Minnesota? They can live in Wyoming. They can live in Idaho. They can live out of state. They can be visiting and vote. This is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, we would verify your documents, so your identity, your residential documents, and then the people you're vouching for, you are their documents.
You represent their document at that point. You're saying you know that they live.
Just being straight up with you guys, they got here recently. I don't really know their citizenship status. They're from the Gaza Strip. Okay. And well, these guys were actually members of Hamas, and they want to vote today.
Okay.
That's okay?
So you would be under oath, letting us know that they are eligible to vote in this precinct.
But I can vote. I can vote, right?
If he vouches.
If he signs, then I can vote, right?
Correct. If he's vouching that you.
Look here, I'll be honest. I don't want to get like legally in trouble for anything, but I'm trying to help my friends out.
Right. So that's what you're acknowledging, though.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, are there restrictions? Like, I'm like, these guys are legit, like, I don't know, former, current, like, Hamas members. Is that gonna be a problem?
You're scared of me now. I'm good. I'm in the U.S. Don't be scared.
So they are also signing an oath.
Don't be scared of me now. I'm good. I'm in the US now. Nothing is gonna happen to you. Yeah, we have seen how terrorists act outside of their state of origin.
They sign after you have registered them that they are eligible to vote.
Got it. Understood. So I don't need to show ID?
If he's vouching for you. Yes, you do.
At this point, another election worker joins the conversation and claims that the Hamas member does in fact need to show an ID. Under Minnesota statutes, section 201.061, Subdivision 3A, vouching is one of 4 alternative ways to prove residence. If a registered voter swears the person lives in the precinct, that oath replaces any document, and no ID is required. This interaction shows that the election workers clearly don't understand the laws surrounding the election they are administering.
He's vouching for where you live. When you're vouching for someone,
Yeah.
what you specifically have to be able to register in this precinct yourself.
Yeah.
Which is your ID, where you live. And an ID literally is photo ID, your name. That's sufficient.
So could we show, does it have to be an American ID?
It has to be one that is accepted.
So such as what? Okay. Oh, a college ID is okay.
Correct.
My concern is that these guys are Hamas members, and I'm worried about getting in trouble for vouching for a Hamas member.
Oh, well, none of that is included in any of this. If you can register today for you
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
that makes you eligible to be able to vouch for somebody else living here.
Got it.
All
Okay.
those other little conditions and stuff, they aren't on this sheet.
Got it.
I can just show.
Maybe they should be on this sheet. Maybe the vouching program should be a little more complex than what it is now, because this is crazy and dangerous. What is going on in Minnesota?
College ID, it's fine.
Minnesota College ID.
I am standing in front of the Office of Elections and Voter Services here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I'm going to go inside and ask these workers, is it actually okay for a voter to vouch for other individuals who just got flown in from the Gaza Strip, who are alleged members of Hamas, who have nothing to prove their identity but a student ID, and for those individuals to then participate in the electoral process here in Minneapolis, Minnesota? We're going to go inside, we're going to speak to somebody, let's see what they have to say. My question is that like a common thing for people to be vouching for Hamas members? So we wanted to get a comment from you all and
Not available for comment. You're more than welcome to set up a time and we'll speak with you later. That's the appropriate email address.
So we were told that it was okay for
We're
people that came in from the Gaza Strip, Hamas members, all they have to do is show student
You're more
ID.
than welcome to exit. Thank you.
What is your name?
Thank you. You're more than welcome to exit. You can contact us at that email address.
We're at the Office of Elections and Voter Services in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They're not answering our questions. And it seems as if, I don't know, it seems as if maybe it is okay for people that just got flown in
It's not okay to come
from...
into our polling places and cause problems like you did yesterday. You're more than welcome to exit. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't you think it would be a problem to allow Hamas members to vote in the state of Minnesota to promote their agenda? Don't you think that's a problem?
You're more than welcome to exit. Have a wonderful rest of your day and feel free to reach out to the email address. Thank you.
Time for you to go.
That's it?
Thank you. Have
So
a
no
wonderful rest of your day. Thank
no
you.
further comment.
You're more than welcome to leave. Thank you. Thank you.
Hamas members,
You are more than welcome to exit. Thank you.
so this is the state of America here. We're in the Office of Elections and Voter
And you're
Services.
being told that it was not appropriate for you to come into our polling places and cause problems yesterday. You're more than welcome to exit. Thank you.
We're welcome to exit. Do we have
You
to
need
exit?
to exit.
We need to exit. So now they are forcing us off the premises because we are concerned about the integrity of elections here in Minneapolis,
You need
Minnesota.
to exit the building. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to be leaving now, but this is honestly very concerning. Any further?
That was very concerning, your behavior yesterday. You're welcome to leave. Thank you.
What?
Thank you. You're welcome to leave. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Very disturbing. We're going to go now, but rest assured this investigation is far from over. Officials like Minnesota's Secretary of State, Steve Simon, have long suggested that the vouching system is secure.
The years I've done this job, I cannot recall a single instance of a false vouching.
How do you know? You can vouch for anybody, and the responsibility for the integrity of the voucher is on the voucher. And if you want to push more votes to a specific candidate, this vouching system is stupid. Stupid.
People know they're making an oath under penalty of perjury, and they're gonna get busted. They're gonna get caught.
It's worth noting that Steve Simon also refuses to hand over Minnesota's unredacted voter rolls to the Department of Justice. As you have seen in this investigation, the dangers posed by Minnesota's vouching system are impossible to ignore. Someone posing as a registered voter could vouch for up to 8 non-eligible voters who can then immediately vote on election day. A formal audit of how the vouching system has been used is needed in order to protect the integrity of Minnesota's elections.
Guys, this is wild, and I will attach the original creator down in the link below so you can watch more of his stuff. This is incredible investigative journalism, and it's so dangerous that it's happening in a state in the United States. Anybody can vote. Anybody can affect elections. We don't want to see this thing happening in the United States, because then incredibly dangerous people are going to get elected, a.k.a. Abdul Al-Sayed. I know he does.
You know what's crazy is that we keep telling people these things, and they just keep telling us that we're lying. Nothing is happening. We always ask people, why don't you want to make sure that American citizens, is the least an American citizen can do, it's show voter ID, show your passport. You know what I'm saying? Show proof of citizenship. I'm a proud American. I love to show proof of citizenship. I brag about my passports. I brag about all my IDs that I go and get. I love bragging that I'm an American citizen. I'm going to tell you something. Now this is people on the right. Republicans are out there running and saying, every Congress and senator should be born American citizens. And I'm against that for one simple reason. We have all the, we don't know because they don't want to show ID, but we have all these supposedly born American citizens that hate this country. And then you have migrants like myself who love this country, who appreciate everything about this country. It is crazy. But I don't support those Republicans. I don't support Trump if he goes and says that, you have to be born in this country to be in the legislative branch. Nope. That's not how it works. That would be unconstitutional. So I think the Republicans need to fucking back that shit back. You know what I'm saying? They need to go back with that. The Constitution does not say that. The Constitution, this is the only time the Constitution makes a differential. Listen, first of all, the Constitution of the United States of America is for the American citizens, and I dare say maybe residents, but it really is for the American citizens. Now, there is some rights that are given to residents, and there is human rights that is allowed for other people. But legal rights only belong to those authorized, those who are under the full jurisdiction of the United States of America or whatever, state they fall in. Now, when the Constitution talks about anybody running for Congress or for office, except the presidency, all you have to do is be an American citizen. But if you want to be president, this is where it makes a differential. It makes a more direct description on who can be president of the United States of America. So the Constitution says that you must be born American citizen to be president. And the only reason why it names it that you must be born American citizen to be president is because we are also naturalized Americans, meaning we're migrants that have come from other countries. We have been under the rule and full jurisdiction of another government or kings or potentate, etc. That is why the Constitution is the one time that it mentions born American citizen, because it's the presidency. Now, I will tell you that there is a lot of proud Latinos, and I'm speaking for my people, a lot of proud Latinos who are today citizens, maybe even residents, waiting to become an American citizen. I'm going to tell you something. Those, and I don't know if anybody has done otherwise, but I can tell you that every single American citizen, migrant that has become naturalized American citizen, every time that we took a picture that we're American citizens, we raised the American flag. not the flag of the country where we come from. We had our citizen certificate and a little United States of America flag. That's right. We didn't have a certificate of American citizenship and put the Honduras flag. No. We raised the American flag. So why are you so proud to fight the United States of America with the flag of the country where you come from? That is the difference between some migrants who become American citizens who love this country, and there's also the difference between naturally born American citizens who love this country and those that hate it. So therefore, when the Constitution says that you must be born American citizen to be president, absolutely, I agree. But the Constitution of the United States of America, if you want to be in Congress, if you want to run for sheriff or anything else, all you have to do is be an American citizen. Does that make sense? I try to clarify it because some people, they just don't get it. I try to clarify. Now, let's go ahead and go off the rails. I want to change gears. Enough about this. I want to give you guys a heads up. I know that a lot of you guys like this format. Okay, you guys like the format of the vertical format. I like the horizontal format better. It just when you're looking at it on a big screen like a tablet or a computer or even on a TV at your house, okay? You can create substance. What? Patreon? I thought you were a patron already. Maybe not. Well, welcome, my friend. I think it's because you are reaching a certain level, I think. JD Vance is a different level of membership. That means that you've been, a member for a longer time. All right, so I appreciate that. Let's see. Obama's down. Work for George Bush Sr. Dennis, yes, thankfully you can't be president. Thank you. Billy the Kid. By the way, Billy the Kid, we know who you are now. I showed a video yesterday, and we saw you. We saw you with that revolver trying to shoot that drone. Those of you who were here with me, you know what Billy the Kid looks like. Mr. Chow called him out. So we know exactly what he looks like. He is a jerk. Ah, man, I'm running out of time. I told you guys that I was going to show you how racist Wisconsin was yesterday. So today I won't tell you either. But anyways, really, I'm going to make a really summary, really quick, really short, etc. When it comes to demographics, criminal activities, about 8% of the black population in Wisconsin commit over 40% of the crime in Wisconsin. Over 40% of the population in prison are black. Most of the victims who suffer are black victims. And they are suffering black victims because of black abusers. That is just crazy. But all of a sudden, the numbers are out there against the blacks because, the law enforcement are racist. Unbelievable. Black Wisconsinites and residents under the age of 40 face a disproportionately higher likelihood of being both victims and perpetrators. I'm sorry, this is not a funny segment. It's not a funny segment, but I laugh because people that want to play the racist card, unbelievable. They are the victims and the perpetrators. You can't make this up, bro. You can't make this up. Oh, man. Arrest and victimization. Here we go, guys. Black residents have a significantly higher likelihood of being arrested. I wonder why. Oh, that's right, because they're black. It's racism, guys. It's racism. And also being the victim of crime. Oh, man. Research highlights that Wisconsin has the nation's third highest black homicide victimization rate, sitting at roughly 38.6 deaths per 100,000 people. Unbelievable. A vast majority of the state's homicides and robberies are concentrated heavily within the city of Milwaukee, directly affecting the urban demographic data. However, overall homicides in Milwaukee dropped by 30% in the first half of 2026. That is fantastic news. Fantastic news right there. And then for those of you who were asking me, here's a quick update on Dearborn, with the police trying to control the crowds, I guess. Let's take a look. It's annoying. Where are all the bikers at? They were making a big thing, this AI thing with a bunch of bikers. I don't see the tens of thousands of bikers that were shown on an AI video. What's going on? Yeah, the biggest argument that I think that not all black people, let me make sure nothing's happening here, guys. There ain't shit going on. The biggest argument that some black people, because it's not all of them, a lot of black people are Americans. Others are just victims of their own hate. But what the mentality of the people that fight, just so you know, here in Washington State, we pay reparations. Everybody that is applying for a house, there's a $100 fee. If you're applying to buy a house, there's a $100 fee. That goes to black families. Which black families? I have no fucking idea, but that's where it's going. I think that what they do is that they have this fund, this budget fund that gives black families free houses, $100,000, $300,000, $500,000 houses for free to some black families. So I don't know how that works, but whatever. But the funniest thing about this whole reparations thing and this whole slavery thing is that blacks also had slaves. Native Americans had African American slaves. So who pays reparations? There's people that have come into this country illegally from Haiti. Yeah, we never had slaves in Washington, by the way. but there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Haitians that come to this country, and then they come in and claim reparations for slavery. What the fuck? You weren't even born in this country. And Jamaicans come into our country asking for reparations. You weren't even born in this country. Africans from Kenya, all the countries in Africa, come over here illegally. And they're fighting for reparations because of slavery that happened in America. What the hell is going on? Unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Better. That's what these people are. Better. Hey, I got a question. Hold on. I got to find it again, bro. Here's what I've been struggling with. Here we go. Let's see. You know, it will help if if the sound guy give me some audio. I got a question. Audio.
I got a question because I really need to know, do you ever get tired?
My lip tarts.
Of being a bitch ass nigga. A hoe ass nigga. A hoe ass nigga. A pussy ass nigga.
Why is everybody that wants to go and defend these Democrats today, bro?
You's a lame ass nigga. A weak ass nigga.
I just don't get it. This is what they do, you know? And I sit here every single day And all I ask from these libtards, bro, after all the truth that I give them,
Acknowledge me!
You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. All right. Enough. You know I had to throw it in there, man. I had to throw it. I have so much fun with you guys, man. I have a lot of brothers, man, and I mean like brothers, cousins, etc., blood related. But I have a lot of brothers, man, that are black. And, we've known each other for many years. We've never seen each other as a color. And I think that is the biggest problem that we have in this country. We know the story. We know the history, the civil rights movement. We know the North and the South fighting. We know all those things. That's past history. What we have today is a beautiful thing. Don't destroy it with resentment. Don't destroy it with hate. You know when I stopped having resentment? Second grade. At second grade, at the age of 8 years old, I realized and recognized that all the racist things that may have happened in the past in Honduras has allowed me to communicate with other people throughout the world. I'm not saying I'm thankful for rapists and racists. Something good came out of something bad. Today, we're not living in the bad. You understand? We need to make sure that we continue to see hope for this country, for our people, because we all have horrible history. We all have bad things that have happened in our lives, but we are the only ones who have the power to make a decision, to look in the mirror and making that change. Nobody can do it for you. Only you can control your future. Start today. Don't destroy the future of your children. With that being said, man, thank you guys for being here with me. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless the USA. We'll see you on the next one.